had to go find my microphone. So I keep a mic at the shop and I keep a mic here at the house. And of course, my wife is using it, so I couldn't find it because she just loves to put shit in random places. So, okay, top for today is I'm sure many people, if you've been on X, have seen some of these headlines, and you're seeing that, Kevin O'Leary is talking about, how you can, you should save 20% of your $69,000 a year salary, and you're going to be a millionaire by the time you're 40. And then the other one that caught my eye was this Mike Rowe guy. And again, I like Mike Rowe. We'll talk all about him. But he was saying that electricians are making $260,000 a year. He knows several of them. And I think he cited Plano, Texas, right? Which tells you where these guys are making their money, which is good. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. A lot of these people that advocate for small businesses and trades jobs like blue collar jobs, things like that. A lot of the people that advocate for this stuff, and a lot of the people that are the so-called experts for the trades and for blue collar work, and they know everything about welding, and most of these guys are full of crap. Like it is what it is. And what they like to do is they like to cherry pick information, and they like to talk about far off examples of how you can make really good money or how great this particular thing is going to be. And again, they'll put them on Fox News, they'll put them on CNN, they'll put them all over the place, and they'll talk about, again, how people are doing so well in whatever thing it is that they want to talk about. And they'll claim to be an expert on this thing that they're always talking about. I'm here to tell you guys, like, most of these guys are full of shit. And we're going to go over a bunch of these guys. So this is one of my passions in life is dismissing and debunking experts, right? It's my favorite thing to do because, again, I never went to high school. I never graduated high school. And again, now I got a small business. I got 9 people that work for me. We do 500 pieces a year. We move product all over the country. And so I just love talking to these people and talking about these people. And every opportunity I get, I go and I look into their backgrounds and just kind of see, how they became an expert, what they've done. Because the truth is, the only thing in life that really matters is your experience, right? And a lot of these people, they don't have a leg to stand on as advocates for the thing it is that they're talking about. And no shade against them. They found a way to do this, and good for them. But if we look in their history, you guys will see that it's kind of interesting that the people on television that advocate for things like small business and blue-collar work and trade jobs and all these guys, they never actually had a blue-collar job in their life. They've never started a small business in their life. And if you look back into the history, if you look into their background and what they do, a lot of them don't even have kids. And when they do have kids, their kids don't go into the things that they advocate for. So very frustrating. This is one of the things I think we need to work on in this country. Actually, standing for something and being about what you claim to be about, I think is a vital thing that we need to do in this country. And not enough people do it, So that's what we're going to talk about today. So who am I? Why are you listening to me? My name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. And we're going to, we're a small business here in St. Louis, Missouri. We got 9 employees. Like I said, we move about 500 pieces a year. We were moving 1,500 during COVID. We make them all right here in St. Louis, all handmade furniture. We're known for our high gloss lacquer coating. And, it's the coating that women can see their faces in, and they love it. 94% of my customers are women. I don't sell to men. Again, most of the men are on YouTube. Most of my clients are on Instagram and Facebook. And Pinterest. This is where they find our furniture, and this is they like the pretty pictures. They like the the beautiful living rooms and the beautiful dining rooms and all this kind of stuff. And I'm the guy that sells that furniture and makes that furniture. So that's who I am. That's hopefully why you guys are listening. So anyway, let's get after this morning. I want to go over some of these people. I want to go over some of these wages. I want to go over some of the things these guys are talking about, and we'll talk about the truth from someone who's a lifelong blue collar worker who was literally the best at what he did in his career. My top salary I ever made as an aerospace worker was $106,000 a year. And I'm going to talk to you guys what I had to do to make that. And we're going to go over what the salaries are in all these industries. And again, who these so-called experts are. I want you guys to know this kind of stuff because until we can get people that are actually experts talking about these industries, you guys are never going to get the truth. And I find it hilarious that, again, we always get the same talking heads, people like Mike Rowe, talking about being blue-collar workers and talking about what's good for the blue-collar worker, but they've never done blue-collar work in their life. And you guys can say, oh yeah, Mike Rowe, he's a dirty jobs guy. Yeah, let me tell you the truth about Mike Rowe, okay? Again, he's not a blue-collar guy, not a bit. And that's fine. He's a good advocate for it, and I support the guy. I love what he does. But at the same time, you're never going to see an actual welder on Fox News, right? They're never going to talk to an electrician, right? They're never going to talk to a furniture maker because we're not palatable people, right? We're not good for sponsors. We're going to tell the truth, and oh my God, you cannot hear the truth about blue-collar work. And so anyway, this is this is what we're going to talk about today. So let's say hi to everyone real quick, and then we're going to, we'll get into our news headlines for a minute, say hi to everyone, and then we'll get into the meat of our story like we always do every morning. All right, Lily Donna, very captivating stuff. All right, Lily Donna, not sure what you're saying there, but I appreciate the comment. We got Rubik's T9B. Hello, good to see you. See, Illy Donna, how did you get into woodwork? Illy Donna, I'll tell you guys in a second. All right, Illy Donna Aerospace. Illy Donna, okay. Nate Christo, 3182. Greetings. Are you the Malak King? I'm not sure what the hell that means, dude. But anyway, I appreciate your comment. Okay, so see, Illy Donna, yeah. Yeah, so I got into woodwork because, believe it or not, my stepdad broke his back. He used to build bridges. He used to install pylons in rivers and, whatever, creeks and ponds and waterways, essentially. And I hurt his back, had to get a drafting degree, and he started a small business in Corvallis, Oregon. And he built a desk that he learned how to make out of a woodworking magazine back in the 80s. And he put that desk into an administrative building in Corvallis, Oregon, essentially a school district building, like an administration building. And that one desk turned into 21 or 22 years of making furniture. And so the entire time my dad was making furniture, I never did any of that shit. I was not a part of it. I was into doing other things, but he got into a lot of trouble later on in his life. So when I was about 20, 21 years old, I essentially had to drive him around, and I had to go help him deal with legal issues and stuff like that. And he started teaching me woodworking. And then when 9/11 happened, all the business dried up. None of the school districts, the police departments, all the municipalities that were normally spending money stopped spending money. And so I had to go find a new job. I ended up going to Wichita, Kansas, just of all places. Wichita, Kansas, from beautiful, picturesque wine country, Corvallis, Oregon, to the middle of the country, complete flatland. And it changed my life, and it changed everything that I was doing. And that's kind of where I come. That's how I got into aerospace. That's how I started woodworking. But anyway, I'm going to talk. I've told my story many times. I don't need to go into it right now. If you guys want me to tell my story, I will. I don't know who's going to be in here. We get a lot of regulars coming in. I don't want to be redundant if I can help it. So, okay, Ben H, 59, 60, ahoy. All right, man, good. Thanks for the comment, dude. Okay, epic Christmas story lamp. Yep, everyone likes the Christmas story lamp. So, okay, let's dig into our top stories real quick. We're going to go over the news just for a minute, and that way you guys kind of know some of the stories that are going on. Then we're going to talk about all of these experts. We're going to talk about blue-collar work. And again, as a guy, I employ 9 people. I've got an actual factory. I'm not some guy making shit in my garage. We've got a real business. I want to talk to you guys about hiring people, hiring tradespeople, and what we actually pay for these jobs. Because again, if you listen to the news right now, I mean, everyone's telling you, oh God, you got to go to trade schools. Oh, so it's the place to be. It's it's the new black gold. Getting into the trades, being welders, being plumbers, all this kind of stuff. It's complete horseshit. Now, are there more jobs in the trades than there used to be? Absolutely, right? Are they paying better than ever? They are paying better than ever, right? Are they paying great? No. They're paying average, right? We need to talk about exactly what happens in a blue-collar job from a blue-collar worker's point of view and a blue-collar business owner's point of view, because these guys are it's so disgusting, guys, what I'm hearing. So, okay, so top news for the day is essentially going to be everything related to this Iran conflict. And again, I talk about the Iran conflict a lot. I don't want to be redundant, guys. I don't want to just continue to talk about Iran and Epstein. And the truth is that Trump has us stuck over this war. Trump's not going to stop. He's going to keep going, and Iran is just ready and waiting. Trump is just stacking troops, and he's essentially going to go over there, and he's going to try and take this Karg Island, and he's going to try and move into Iran. He's going to try and get this uranium, because if Trump doesn't get this uranium, right, if he doesn't prove that there was a reason to go over this place, he's going to end up being like a George W. Bush, and he's going to go down in history as one of these guys that really fucked up bad, and he doesn't want to do that. So I believe that he is just massing troops, and this is kind of what we're seeing every other day. It seems like we're getting another story, right? We got 2,500 of these Marines heading over in this amphibious unit. Then we got 3,000 heading over from the 82nd Airborne, and now there's talks of another 10,000. I haven't even heard as much as 20,000 heading over there, and it's going to be a small outfit to go find this uranium. So. Every story is about this thing, guys. You guys are seeing the gas is, oil is $116 a barrel, I think I read this morning. Oil prices continue to go up. Gas prices continue to go up. And Trump is starting to feel the pressure from Americans saying, hey, dude, what the fuck are we doing? Like, where is this war going? What's the end game? Why is the cost of gas going up? Why is inflation getting ready to hit 5%, right? Why are home prices still going up? Why are the illegal immigrants still here? What the hell is going on here? Why are we spending so much money defending countries like Europe, right? Or why are we defending countries like Israel, places that have universal health care, universal child care, and we can't get that stuff here in America. Why are we spending all this money to stabilize this region that has all the shit that we don't get here as Americans, right? So Trump's feeling a lot of pressure, and I don't know how much longer he's going to do this thing. It's like either I think he's going to go crazy and he's going to, I won't say nuke, but he's going to use some crazy weaponry because he's basically like he's got little man syndrome. You know, he's over there saying, he's like, we're American. We need to go take Iran. We got to go get this uranium. We got to go stabilize this area. And the military leaders are saying like, look, man, this is a really mountainous area. These people, you know, have a 5,000-year history. They're not like, you know, just fighting any other country. And he's like, but we're America. And they're like, yeah, but there's a lot of mountains. He's like, America. They're like, yeah, but they've got a lot of, he's like, America. He will not listen to reason from the experts. And I don't know what this guy's, you know, who he's listening to and what he's doing, but like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but he's just really, he's in a bad spot. And I don't think Trump has it in him to back down because again, he's using other people's money and he's using other people's lives, right? When one of our kids goes over there and fights for this little tiny country with 6.5 million people that no American's ever going to go to, that has universal health care and universal child care. When that son dies, Trump doesn't have to look the father or mother in the eye and say, you know, see how their life's been ruined, right? How all the joy and all of the anticipation for what their kid's life was going to be is gone. Trump doesn't have to do that, and this is wildly frustrating. This is one of the reasons, like, I'm a big advocate for pulling things back into America, and if you guys want to come mess with America, then fine. We'll send the country to war, and we'll go destroy you guys, and then we'll come home, and we'll just rinse and repeat until the world fucking understands that America doesn't play. But we don't want to do that. So anyway, that's basically all. There's no good stories out there, guys. There's nothing that's like really super important that I think would be anything worth even talking about. Everything is just war, and it's very frustrating because that's not what we ran on. That's not what Donald Trump came into office to do, and that's where we're at, you know. So anyway, let's dig in the bulk of our conversation today. I want to talk about Mike Rowe. I want to talk about experts. I want to talk about all these people that are in positions to talk about what's good for small business and what's good for tradespeople. Okay, and again, I'm coming at you guys from the standpoint of someone who is a lifelong blue-collar worker, started a blue-collar business, and hires and fires blue-collar people for the last 10 years. Okay, that's what we're going to talk to. Okay, let's say hi to everyone, and we'll get crack-a-lack in here. All right, hope everyone's having a good morning. Hope everyone's going to have a good week. I did nothing all weekend, man. It was great. My wife's Tesla just freaking died. Like literally died in someone's driveway. It wouldn't start. We couldn't get it to go on. We couldn't do nothing. We actually had to jump it. You guys can jump a Tesla, believe it or not. And now I've got to replace the main battery. There's a secondary battery. I got to replace the thing. Believe it or not, they have it at O'Reilly's. It's like a little lawnmower battery. Interesting stuff. Okay, who do we got in here this morning? We got Foxy. Was this Foxy Space? Foxy Space, D5. Good to see you. You are a girl. See, are you a girl? Okay, cool. Great question. Great way to spend your time. All right, this is Peeps. So your thoughts on P. Diddy. I don't have any thoughts on P. Diddy. Foxy Space. Do you expect furries? And okay, yeah, we got one of you guys. Okay, again, once our moderators come in here, guys, you guys aren't going to be able to put in this bullshit. Okay, real questions, real news. Richard Moore. It's just Richard Muirhead, 5368. Europe isn't a country. I know, dude. I get it. Mark of the Beast on his little hands. Okay, good. So we got wow, this is interesting. Got no good comments in here. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Would you date a black girl? Date a black girl? I don't even know. No, I married an Indian woman though, so I don't know if that counts. But anyway, okay. So here we go. I don't know what the fuck's going on with our algorithm this morning. We got a bunch of goofballs in here, but that's okay. We're going to continue our conversation anyway. Because I need to talk about this, again, as someone who actually does this shit for a living. So, okay, the main topic for today is, so Mike Rowe's saying that electricians are making $260,000 a year, right? Which is, you know, which he's not wrong. I'm sure there's plenty of tradesmen, electricians, plumbers, firemen, whatever, furniture makers, cabinet makers, whatever you want to say, any kind of trade, that are making $260,000 a year. But the question is, how do you do that, right? How does a person, you know, go from normal life, going from high school, go from college, go from a trade school to making $260,000 a year? And here's the truth, guys, you don't. And this is the thing I get really frustrated about, because what they'll do is they'll talk specifically about, oh my God, we got so many people going into the trades. You know, they go to trade school, they then come out and they're making $260,000 a year. And the truth is that might happen for the 0.0000001% of people, okay? Now, how do you go to making $260,000 a year, right? There's only one way to go to make $260,000 a year, because it's what I did as a furniture maker, right? Again, making $106,000 a year back in 2015, when that actually was like a lot of money. The way that you do it is you have to be the guy that volunteers for everything. You got to be the guy that's willing to move around and chase the work, right? You got to be able to leave one company to go to another company. You got to be willing to be poached from one company to another company. And you got to work on the most secretive and the most high stress situations possible. Like if you're going to be a welder, the only way you're going to make a shit ton of money being a welder is if you're out working in the oil fields out in Texas when it's 110 degrees out, right? If you're one of these guys that goes out on the offshore oil rig, you know, the ones where the fucking waves are going like this, if you're out there on the rig, you're probably making $175,000 a year welding, right? If you're an underwater welder, right, you're putting on a scuba suit and going down and welding, you're making $260,000 a year, right? If you're an electrician that's working on an AI data center in the middle of Ohio, right, you might be making $260,000 a year. Like there's a lot of opportunity to make a ton of money in the trades, but the truth is that you gotta go to the places that it doesn't work, okay? Here's another thing. When I was making $106,000 a year as a freaking furniture maker, I also got divorced, right? Because I was working 7 days a week for like, I don't know, months at a time, you know, working on these special 787 jets, these Dreamliner jets for Virgin Atlantic, because they were trying to launch these inaugural planes with the new 787 Dreamliner that Boeing put out. It was a big deal back then. And so we were just working on all kinds of crazy stuff, traveling all over the place, doing whatever we had to do to get these jets going, right? So it was a crazy project that when I was making a ton of money. But other things, like I had to go to New Zealand for 4 months, right? There's just things you have to do. It's like I'm the guy that can go into Pepsi's hangar and work on their planes. I'm the guy that can go work on Air Force One. I'm the guy that can go work in, you know, the Boeing Defense Center. In order to make really good money, you got to be that person that is the guy that goes and does that shit. And the truth is, guys, like most people aren't that. And it's not because they can't do it, it's because they don't want to, right? And not only do they not want to, they got obligations at home. They got things like family. You know, their wives don't want to be away for months at a time. They got guys, they don't want to get, you know, divorced twice, remarried 3 times like I did. Like, in order to make this kind of money, guys, you're not just, you know, leaving high school, going and working for another company, you know, learning how to weld and then becoming a welder, or becoming an electrician and making 260 grand a year. And this is the story, guys, that a lot of these people don't talk about. And it really frustrates me, because again, I've known probably hundreds of people in my life that do all these jobs, and none of these guys make this money. My dad is literally the teacher for welding. He's been doing it his entire life. The most money he ever made was he made $150,000 a year. That's the most money he ever made. And this is a union welder. Great benefits, you know, great retirement. The guy retired, he retired, I think, when he was 69 or 70. I forget. And always made fine money. You know, my dad was never rich. Like, my dad wasn't making 260 grand a year. Like, it wasn't what it was, right? And my dad had to drive hours every day to go to the job. It wasn't like he just, you know, hopped on a bus and went over to the fucking job site. Like, he literally would be driving for hours, you know, to go out to where he needed to weld. Like, Dad used to work out at, out by there in Corvallis, Oregon. He'd work in the shipyards, building ships, right? Dad used to work on boilers, you know, for the school district. Like, these people can make a ton of money, but you don't do it in the beginning. And I feel like this is what especially someone like a Mike Rowe does. He basically tries and tell you guys that, oh my God, you're going to come out of trade school. You know, we're going to talk about trade school. Trade school, guys, is a fucking joke, okay? I'm here to tell you what trade school really is, okay? Now, Mike Rowe says, oh yeah, you're going to be in your 20s driving a Lambo, you know, being a welder, you know, and it's just, guys, it's not going to be that way. And so, you know, I hope you guys understand this. Like, I'm going to tell my stories, and I'm going to tell the stories of other people that I know who were doing the things that I were doing, the welders that I know, right? The people that are doing machine work, right? The guys that are running CNC operators. Like, I got CNC router. Like, I know how much CNC operators are making. I know how much all these technology-related people are making, because I'm the guy that hires them, okay? I have the business, okay? So, also, I was the blue-collar guy that was doing the work, right? I've been around CNC routers my entire life. I know who these people are. I'm around the programmers. I am the programmer, you know? So, I feel like I got a pretty good, robust background and a pretty good, robust understanding of what it means to be a blue-collar worker. And I know the mindset of people that are pushing blue-collar work today. These are people that were also the guys telling you you're going to be a fucking loser if you work with your hands. Oh my God, you must be an idiot. You didn't go to college. Like, oh my God, I want it to be better than my kids had it. Therefore, they're going to go to college, right? This mindset has infected blue-collar work, has infected especially cable news and people here on X trying to tell you guys how to get rich. And, oh, these are the jobs of the future. Most of them are full of shit, guys. And so anyway, let's say hi to people and see who's in here. I don't know if we got. I think we got a goofy algorithm this morning. I'm not sure what's going on here. Normally we'll have 60, 70 people in here, and I don't think we have nearly the same amount of people. So, okay, let's see. Coal mining is making a comeback. Richard Murhead, again, coal mining should make a comeback. We got Peabody Energy right here in St. Louis. It's the largest coal company in America. I live on the Mississippi River. Coal barges go up it all and down, powering the power plants. You know, it's literally, that's all the barges do is they just run up and down the Mississippi River, funneling coal to all these power stations. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I don't know if you're being one of these, if you're being genuine or if you're being disingenuous, you know, like, oh my God, nobody wants to mine for coal. Like, no, we need coal. We need every fucking form of energy we can get in this country. You guys want life to be affordable? Guess what? You need all the energy, not just some of the energy. But I know we got so many people in this country. It's all about luxury beliefs with you guys. You're just you fucking college people. You think that, you know, that we got to have safe air and safe drinking water, and anything other than that is the complete opposite. It's if you support coal, well, that means you hate the environment. If you support coal, that means you want everyone to have black lungs. Like, no. This is how an economy works. This is how the world works. You guys don't want to have to make 150 grand a year at your job. Well, let's get the cost of energy down, right? Let's get the cost of gasoline down. Let's get the cost of regular old energy, the cost of natural gas down. Let's get every form of energy we can in this country. But what do I know? Okay, let's see. J.R. Brown, 1978. 2000. Okay, heavy equipment mechanic, dirty hands, make clean money. I like that. JP Brown, if you're a heavy equipment mechanic, that's awesome, dude. I know a lot of those guys make a ton of money. I don't know a ton about that particular industry, so you got me on that one. But it seems to me like if you're working with heavy machinery, you're probably making decent money, you know, because the ability to hurt yourself, the amount of knowledge to work around heavy, massive things, I would think would pay a ton of money, you know. So man, good for you. I hope you're killing it, man. All right, who's this? Richard Muirhead, 3568. Does it scale up? Richard, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what scales up. I fucking stopped looking at your comments because you're putting a bunch of dumb shit in there. Okay, let's see. I don't want to be the best employee ever. I don't want to be the best employee ever. Yeah, and again, Richard Muirhead, a lot of people are like that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being an average employee, but guess what? You're not going to make $260,000 a year. I'm sorry. Again, as a business owner, like you can't just increase people's wages year over year over year over year over year over year until you got some guy that's literally, you know, sanding for 20 years making $75 an hour. Like, it's not going to happen. We're going to get rid of you, and we're going to bring in somebody who's younger, who doesn't need as much money. Like, at some point, you got to work to be the best employee. You got to grow your skills. You got to add more value to the business in order to get more money, you know, and it's unfortunately, this is just a sad reality of life. And again, as a guy who for 20 years was collecting a paycheck, now I'm 10 years writing the paychecks. This is more apparent to me than ever. Okay, Sasquatch. All right, Titan's in here. God, thank God, Titan. I'm so glad you're here. We got a bunch of dumb shit comments in here. I need these fucking people to be like, get rid of them. Okay, let's see. Try driving cranes, buddy. Man, I love it. Good job. Fantastic job. And there's a ton of these jobs out there, and this is one of the reasons that we do this cast. We get real people in here talking about real things. If heavy equipment operators paying really well, okay, let's talk about that. If crane operators are paying really well, let's talk about that. But here's the thing about heavy equipment and crane operators. My guess is there's not a ton of those jobs. Now, heavy equipment mechanic, I think there probably is a lot more of those. But heavy crane operators, I mean, we've only got so many ports in here for moving cargo, and then we're not really building a ton of shit in this country. Like, I remember going to Nashville, I'd probably say it was like 10 years ago, and I'd never seen so many cranes except when I was in New Zealand after the 08 earthquake, that there was 2010 earthquake they had there. I'd never seen so many cranes in my life. But when I went to Nashville, that place was booming. When I was in Austin here about, I don't know, probably during COVID, I'd never seen so many cranes in my life, but I don't know that we're developing this country in the way that we used to. Maybe I could be wrong, but again, very cool jobs. I don't hear enough people talking about that kind of stuff, so I appreciate you guys putting it out there. And let us know where you're working. What state are you working in? What are you working on specific industries, right? Are you working in construction? Are you working in logistics? Like, where is this work being done? Like, I see we got a lot of hospitals here in St. Louis, and there are a ton of cranes out there, but I don't know if that's the same thing you're talking about. Like I said, I'm not a crane expert, you know, so, but I love you guys putting this stuff out there. All right, trade is gay. Okay, well, that's cool, man. You got your opinion. I appreciate that. All right, scaling. Richard Mull, what do you want to talk about? Scaling? I mean, what is something you want to have a good comment in here? So don't fall for that pride in your job bullshit. Okay, well, Richard Mullins, let us know what you do, man. I don't know what you do. Again, I always took pride in my job, paid off for me. I take pride in my business now. The people that work for me take pride in their work. They deliver an amazing product. So this, again, I don't know what the problem is with having pride in your job, So, all right, we got Hippie Gypsy in here. Good name, man. Hippie Gypsy, good morning, good to see you. All right, Hippie Gypsy, YouTube is glitching with the numbers this morning. All right, well, YouTube's been glitching. Like the YouTube analytics have been glitching too, so maybe that's what it is. Again, I started doing some videos where I'm using my Canon camera, which is going to be at like the horizontal thing. I don't know if that messed up the algorithm, but whatever. We usually get just gobs of people in here. It's a little bit slow, but that's fine. We're still going to talk about trade jobs. We're going to talk about what trade jobs really pay. If you guys are one of these people in the trades, let us know what you do. Let us know what your salary is. Gatekeeping salaries is fucking retarded. Again, as a business owner, I don't want my guys to know what their salaries are. As an employee, I absolutely wanted to tell everyone what our salaries are because it gave us something to argue with the employer. So I've seen both sides of it, and talk about your salaries, guys. I think it's very important. The problem that comes down to it is when the employee has to have the conversation with the employer, and the employer has to be honest with them about why they're paid the way they're paid. This is the thing that most employees need to be aware of, and this is what I've learned as a business owner. All right, and again, I'll tell you guys straight up, you let a business owner take advantage of you, they will absolutely do it, right? And there's a lot of different kinds of business owners in this world. There's business owners that want to pay their employees, and they want to have their employees' lives reflect what their business is, and you got other business owners, they literally just want to get the cheapest employee they possibly can that will give them the most output so they can make the most money. Very different businesses. We're not all the same, so. All right, see, Richard Mullins head says inflation. Again, dude, I don't know what you're saying. You guys got to put a little bit more into your comments. Again, your one-word comments aren't going to get a response unless it's saying hi, but you got to give us something to work with. All right, divided population U.S. Coal is needed also for the power plants. Yeah, divided population. This is I'm going to say name right. Yeah, divided population U.S. Yeah, again, I live on the Mississippi River. Again, the barges run coal up and down the Mississippi all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The only time that the barges stop running coal is when there's massive ice sheets on the Mississippi here. When it gets down to like 0 degrees, because the river's constantly moving, it builds up waves, right? And as the wind comes in, right, because it's very flat up on the bluffs here, the wind comes in, rolls off the bluffs, and just creates white caps on the river, and then that builds, and you end up with a situation where the river literally looks like there's waves frozen in time. It's freaking beautiful. But the barges will literally stop for like 2 or 3 days, and that's the only time they stop. All right, so yeah, but we need all kinds of coal. We need every kind of power we could possibly get in this industry, or in this country right now, because if you guys look at what's happening to power, and I saw a story, I think it was Saturday, that they're basically saying that the cost of energy is damn near tripled in the last 5 years, right, since COVID. And a lot of that attribution comes from these AI data centers. And what you're seeing is that these data centers, they come in, and you'll see a data center that'll use whatever, quarter mile by quarter mile. It uses as much energy as an entire town, right? And they always put these data centers by fresh water sources because they're drawing that water in to cool the fins on all of the processors and all the electronics, right? And so that water gets evaporated and burnt off, right? And again, it'll probably come down as rain at some point, but at the same time, you're not getting access to that fresh water. It's going to these data centers and things like that. And then the Trump administration came in and they said that these data centers could essentially build their own power stations, which I thought was kind of interesting because, again, you and I, we can't get any fucking power built to reduce our costs, right? You don't see anyone trying to make more power station, whether that's LNG, whether that's coal, whether that's nuclear. All you hear about is fucking wind farms and solar panels, which again, I'm all for that stuff, but you got to do the solar panels and the wind farms while you're building all the other stuff. And again, you guys know me, I'm a big shit talker when it comes to academics. And I'm here to tell you guys, the smarter we've become as a country, the less power we have, right? The more expensive everything has got in this country because nobody wants to do anything. Everyone just wants to get an office job, make an exaggerated salary at the expense of the blue collar guy, at the expense of the manufacturing guy, at the expense of what we do in China, right? Send all the manufacturing over there, or bringing the third world in here to compete with everyone's jobs. And it's a big problem, and we got to fix it, And it's just you guys know you guys know where I'm at on that one. Okay, let's see. All right, hold on. Coal's needed. All right, we got Mr. Axe Jr. All right, great name, man. Okay, let's see. Is this the Trump group? No, we're not a Trump group. I'm a 3-time Trump supporter, and I'm wildly disappointed with Trump and what he's done for our country, what he's done for the people that voted for him. The guy is literally the antithesis of what he claims to be. And again, if you're one of these people that loves Trump and you're so happy with what he's doing, you're glad that he's president, let us know and let us know why. Because I'm always curious to hear why people think that Trump is such a great success. Because again, as a guy that supported this guy for 10 years, I couldn't be more disappointed with what I'm seeing from this guy. So appreciate your comment though, Mr. Axe. All right, divided population. Thanks, bro. All right, divided population. Let us know what you do. What's your industry? What state are you in? I want to know where you guys are at. If you guys are in the stream, hit the like button. And again, continue to have the discussion. Hit the subscribe button. And this is, it's good for the algorithm. It's good to kick it around. Okay. That's what scaling means. Okay, dude, like Richard, you got to give us something, man. Like I said, you got to give it, you got to let us know what you're saying. You think that we're going to go back and piece together all your comments prior? It ain't happening. All right, divided population, U.S., crane operators, get the boom up. Yeah, hilarious, right? All right, Alan B8F. It's Alan. All right, good to see you, Alan. Glad you're here. Alan, let us know where you're at. What do you do? We got any blue-collar workers in here? We got any people that work with their hands? We got business owners in here. Let us know what you guys do. Are you an academic? Are you got a psychology degree? Are you crushing it, in trading crypto? Let us know what it is you guys do in this chat this morning. Because, again, I'm going to give you guys the conversation about all the experts, right? The micro people, the Alonzo, oh God, I forget his name. He's the small business expert on Fox. We're going to talk about Bill Pulte, right? The guy that is literally over the housing market for the federal government. He owns a fucking housing company. We're talking about this guy. We're going to talk about Sean Hannity, right? We're going to talk about all these people that talk about jobs, right? Talk about blue collars and how, oh my God, we shouldn't have this class war in America. And then we're going to look at what their kids do. And this is everything. This is all you guys need to know. Okay, I sent you a like. All right, Alan, I appreciate it, man. Alan, let us know what you guys are doing. I want to know what you guys do. What state are you in? What business are you in? What's your guys' salary? Are you guys making money? Are you losing money? Is life affordable? Is life not affordable? If you're one of these guys that loves Trump, you hate Trump, let us know why. You got to put something in here that we can converse about. Otherwise, the live streams don't work. All right, say I'm a Trump supporter too. Okay, great. Says I'm 41. Great, Alan. Give us a little bit more. Why do you like Trump? What are you doing? Where are you at? All right, good. See, I'm in New York. All right, you're in New York. Cool. I send tons of shit to New York. All right, see, I'm a Mason, hard labor worker. Fantastic. That's awesome, dude. Are you part of, is there a union up there? I don't know a lot about masonry. I tell you guys a story. I was literally sitting at Chipotle like a month ago, and I'm watching them build. They're literally building up a Deerbrook, which is like a big grocery store here. And I'm watching it's almost like a team of masons, right? They're moving cinder blocks. And there's a group of 6 of these guys. And I looked at the group, and it was essentially nothing but 60-somethings. There's no young people, right? And then eventually I saw there were 2 young guys that were in this particular group, but it's nothing but guys smoking cigarettes. They got the gray beards, the gray hair. They're all kind of, just real burly looking dudes. They got a couple kids there, but for the most part, it's nothing but old white guys. It seems to me like this is an old white industry, and I don't know if that's a union thing, if that's just only white guys do cinder block work and do concrete work. I don't know what it is, but I just watched that, and I watched these guys work, and it was just kind of interesting. It took me back to my days of doing blue collar work, and it was like these guys seemed pretty happy, man, out there just smoking their cigarettes, laying cinder blocks, and they had these they were laying these big pieces of rebar. And I guess they got to make sure that rebar is perfectly plumb, so they were doing that, and then they're laying these cinder blocks, they're stacking these things over this rebar, and again, I don't know much about it, but it was just like kind of interesting group of guys. So, all right, let's see. This is Lich YU60Y says I make $6,000 a month. All right, well, let us know what you do, Lich. Like, what do you have 6,000 or 10,000 bucks a month? What is that? 120 grand a year? It seems like pretty good money. That gets you into the middle class. What do you do? Is this something that other people can do? All right, let's says free work, probably hard work. All right, well, again, not a lot to work with, guys. So, okay, let's dig into the bulk of our conversation. Okay, so Micro says that electricians are making $260,000 a year. The other thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about this big push for trade schools, right? So you guys know at this one, I'm one of these guys. I am very fearful of all the trade school talk. I'm tired of people suddenly saying that working with your hands is a great way to make money. I'm tired of the failure of academia, basically wanting us to bail out academia for giving out 10 million business degrees, for giving out 10 million psychology degrees, to giving out basket weaving degrees, to giving out all these gender studies degrees, to giving out a ton of fucking degrees, and yet not pushing for the 10 millionth welder, not pushing for the 10 millionth firefighter, not pushing for the 10 millionth furniture maker. They didn't do this forever because they were sending all that work to the third world, and then arbitraging that into hiring brand managers, to hiring strategists, to hiring material engineers, to hiring, HR directors, DEI coordinators, all these bullshit jobs. And they did this at the expense of the blue collar worker. And this thing, I'll talk about it till the day I die. Again, now I'm a business owner. I've got 9 guys. I've seen both sides of the paycheck, the front of the paycheck and the back of the paycheck. And we got major problems in this country. And again, these guys are fucking lying to all of us, and I'm going to talk about it. So, all right, micro. Everyone knows about micro. Dirty Jobs. Everyone loved that show. It was on, what was on Discovery, if I remember correctly? I love that show. And again, I love seeing people out there talking about what it was that we were doing as guys that basically take showers after we go to work versus taking a shower before we go to work. Guys that, are wearing overalls and Carhartt to work instead of, putting on a suit and a tie. Very different type of show. And again, wildly popular. The guy made a shit ton of money off of it. But at the end of the day, is Mike Rowe a blue-collar worker, right? Is Mike Rowe pushing for his kids to be blue-collar workers, right? Is Mike Rowe advocating the realities of what it takes to become a $260,000 a year electrician, right? Is he advocating for what it takes to go from being the guy coming out of high school, 18 years old, to then being the guy making $260,000 a year? And the answer is no. He's not doing that. Because again, he's trying to get people to go into his foundation, his scholarship program, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that it's not. But he's not talking about the reality of going from starting out in life to making middle-class money, even fucking middle-class money. I'll put it that way, okay? So, who is Mike Rowe, right? So Mike Rowe is an academic. At the end of the day, he studied opera. He got a bachelor's degree. And again, the guy's never worked a day in his life. He started this show, Dirty Jobs, for the Discovery Network, if I remember correctly, and wildly popular. The guy made a shit ton of money. He then has a foundation. He pushes and advocates for people to get welding degrees, to get certificates in being electricians, welding, all these kind of things, and it's fantastic, right? But this is his motivation, right? His motivation isn't to get people to come out of high school and go get a job, which is how it used to be, right? And we can say, oh, times have changed, it's different. And here's the truth, guys. No, it's not. It's not any different. I own a business. All I do is hire blue-collar people. I would love to get a guy right out of high school that wants to be a furniture maker or wants to learn how to operate a CNC router, okay? And this is the reality of most businesses in America. But again, you're not going to hear any of this stuff on Fox News or CNN or these fucking cucks on X. You're not going to hear any of this stuff, okay? Because the truth is they don't want you to just leave high school and go to work for the local HVAC company. They don't want you to leave high school and go to work for the local machinist shop. They don't want any of this stuff, guys. They want you all to go to trade school or go through one of their programs where they're making money, okay? These are business-minded people at the end of the day, and that's fine. But the truth is that until businesses are advocating for getting people out of high school and training them to do a job so they can then go out and make real money, it's never going to change, guys. So Mike Rowe, again, what are Mike Rowe's kids doing? You guys look at this? So Mike Rowe has no kids. So at the end of the day, this guy's, pushing blue collar work, telling you guys to get a job, and he's just basically just fucking bitches and living a bachelor life, which again, I've got no problems with that, but is this really the best advocate for small businesses and blue collar work? Like, I don't think so. The guy talks about it all the time, like to this day, he's not going to go roof his house. He's not going to go build furniture for his home. This guy is not a blue collar worker, and he did not pick up any knowledge while being a blue collar worker or doing, dirty job for 3 or 4 days at a time while he's filming a television show. Okay, this guy is an actor. And again, no shade on the guy for what he did. I think that we can talk about this guy and who he actually is versus what he advocates for, because I'm going to paint for you guys the picture of this is the path and the story for all of these people. All these people, they make their money on the backs of blue-collar workers. The guys in finance, the guys with the MBAs, they make all their money on the backs of blue-collar workers. And this is one of the fundamental problems that we have in America today. The number one growing industry in America for the last 30 years has been finance. Right? So none of these guys are making their money doing the thing that they're advocating for or doing the thing that makes them money. Right? And so until we change this, until we get more people starting small businesses, until we get more electricians going from being the junior electrician to being the owner of an electrician company, right, that helps to create competition in the space and create more electrical businesses, more furniture companies, more welding companies, CNC outfits, machining outfits, all these kind of things, we're going to end up in a situation where, again, all the electricians, all these people are going to end up working for the large 8 corporations in America, right, the Mag 7, which is where all these people that are making these electricians that Mike Rowe is talking about, these people making $260,000 a year are working for the Mag 7 companies. Okay, now you can say that's great. They're making tons of money. I think that's fantastic. But at the end of the day, you're talking about a very minute, tiny amount of people making really good money. The rest of them are making average to below average money. Okay, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about. All right, let's continue the conversation. I want to say hi to more people. Again, guys, put your comments in here. You need to add something that moves the conversation forward. You need to respond to what I'm talking to. I'm not going to respond to your bullshit comments and your comments, that whatever you're trying to get a reaction out of me, it ain't happening. So let's continue moving. You guys agree with me? Tell me where I'm wrong. Disagree with me? Tell me where I'm right, or tell me where I'm right. You can't just say, oh, this is bullshit. I don't like you. This is wrong. No, he's awful. You got to give us something to work with. All right. See, Titan's timing that guy out. All right, this is Moth Max X2000. See, are you living a bachelor life? No, I'm married. I got 3 kids. All right, to Moth Max X2000. I kind of like the leg lamp in the background. I know everyone likes the leg lamp. All right, again, go watch the movie The Christmas Story. We all kind of like the leg lamp. Leg lamp's iconic. It's a part of the stream. I try and always put it in the stream unless I'm at the shop. All right, see, CO1NZX. What are we talking about? We're talking about blue collar work. We're talking about Mike Rowe saying that there are electricians making $260,000 a year. And we're talking about whether that's possible, why that would really happen. And we're talking about what's really going on in blue collar work. We're talking about what the path from getting out of high school to making $260,000 a year actually looks like. I'm telling you guys my story as a furniture maker who was making $106,000 a year at the height of when I was making aerospace furniture, and what it took for me to make that kind of money. And if you listen to the experts, guys, they're going to tell you just got to go get a fucking trade certificate and you'll make $260,000 a year. And I'm here to tell you guys it's complete horseshit. Now, there are industries where you can make really good money, but guess what? It ain't going to be as an electrician, and it's not going to be as a plumber. You're going to need to be like we got one guy in here who's a heavy crane operator. Again, you can probably do that. If you want to be an underwater welder, you can probably make good money doing that. If you want to be the electrician that's working, at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, yeah, you can make $260,000 a year. But, you just hopping in your car, and heading over to the job site a mile up the road from where you live ain't fucking happening. You're living out on the job site, out in the fields in San Antonio, in the panhandle of Oklahoma, where there's actually guys making shit tons of money. But there's no such thing as easy money. And this is what these guys do, guys. They advocate for easy money. Oh, God, just go to trade school. You're going to be an electrician. No, you're going to leave trade school making $80,000 a year. Within 4 years, you're going to be making $200,000 a year. Okay, I'm here to tell you guys, it will not happen for you. Okay, not saying that you won't. They're not out there because they are. We always have to say that, right? We can't speak in generalities, So that's what we're talking about. All right, Mothman X2000. I don't know what he's talking about, honestly. Okay. He sounds like he's on a mission. All right, I am on a mission. I'm here to talk about the realities of business. I'm here to talk about the realities of owning a company, of hiring, of firing, of what our economy is really like, because I think most people have their heads in the clouds and don't understand how the economy really works. When I talk about things like tariffs, right, again, I actually have 2 businesses in India where we make hardware, right? So I actually know how tariffs work because I actually have to deal with it. When you guys listen to the experts on Fox News talk about how tariffs work for the economy, the guys that went to the Wharton School of Business, the Nobel laureate economists, most of the time they're full of shit. When you listen to the Fox News experts try and talk to you guys about what's good for small business, you'll find out they've never had a job in their life. They've never actually started a small business. They're advocating for big business, and that's who's actually paying them. Because what happens is big business uses small business to get what it is that they want. This is how the game works, guys. And again, what's good for small business oftentimes isn't good for big business. And this is there's a massive conflict of interest there when we get these experts going on television talking about what's good for us and what's good for you when they've never actually done it. Mike Rowe has never had a small business in his life. Mike Rowe has never earned a blue-collar wage in his life. Mike Rowe has never been the guy at the bottom, doing the work and then becoming the guy at the top. He's never made that transition, so he doesn't understand what it takes to get there. People like Bill Pulte, right? Pulte Homes, build tens of thousands of homes a year. Again, the guy's kids don't do what made him rich. Okay, and again, it's okay. There's no shame of it, but be honest about it, right? Don't advocate for this kind of work, and don't say how great you think this kind of work is, because again, as a guy who's been in it his entire life, none of these people advocated for it. In fact, they called us all losers. They said that the reason we're digging ditches is because we didn't go to college, right? They're saying things like, oh my God, don't work hard like your dad. They're talking shit on us and been talking down to us for 20 or 30 years. And again, I never thought that I was a loser. I always made good money. I bought my first home when I was 21. I always drive BMWs, right? I always had my life was fantastic. But no matter how good I thought my life was, I was always told what a piece of shit I am, what a fucking loser I am, because I didn't go get a business degree. Okay, so it's wildly frustrating to listen to these people today advocate for the thing they're advocating for when they were calling me a loser my entire life, calling my friends losers forever. It's wildly frustrating, and I'm going to be the guy that advocates against it. So when Mike Rowe comes out and says, "Oh, he's an advocate of small business," I'm going to go fuck yourself, dude. You don't have any fucking kids, and you've never worked a blue collar day in your life. You know, you worked a blue collar work because you were getting paid millions of dollars a year. Okay, again, any guy would go do blue collar work for $1 million a year, right? Again, you go pick strawberries. You want to do a show about picking strawberries. Okay, again, if you were making the $8 an hour that the guy picking strawberries was making, and not the $1 million a year you were making talking about it, like, you guys see how this works? Like, it's really frustrating the people that we've elevated in our society today. Again, when you go on Fox News, you're never going to see a blue collar worker. You're never going to see a guy who's a construction worker out there talking about what America needs, talking about what's good for construction workers, what's good for getting more people into construction trade, right? What the construction worker does in his spare time, what his kids are doing. You're never going to see it because these people aren't palatable and they're not going to say the thing that the industry and the news networks needs them to say. And this is why I do this talk, guys, because again, I don't make my money on fucking YouTube. I make my money selling furniture. I can say whatever I want. I don't have to be palatable, you know? So, all right. Okay, you sound crazy. I know. And again, so was a CO1, NZX. Did you tell us what you do? Did you tell us how much you're making, what state you're working in, what industry you're in? Have you told us any of this stuff? Or you just, again, you're just one of these guys that likes to, you're a keyboard warrior? All right, let's see. Bill Desmond, 3929. Trump loves you. All right, man. Aviation A&P mechanic. All right, dude, you're my industry. You and I work together a lot. So I'm the guy that was in the furniture shop making all the cabinets, right? I'm the guy that would come out to the plane every now and again. I wasn't an interior tech, but I was the guy that would come out there sometimes and help install furniture when I didn't have things in the wood shop. I could take furniture out, and take things out like an interior tech, right? But I was a furniture maker. I was the guy building all the shit that was going into the airplanes. So for you guys that don't know, an A&P mechanic is an airframe and power plant mechanic. And these guys have to know basically the electrical systems. They got to know the hydraulic systems. They're going to be working on the engines. They're going to do all kinds of shit, making sure that the systems in the plane are all working correctly, right? So fantastic paying job for what I understand. And again, you got to go to school for it. It takes a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken, to get the A&P license. But yeah, fantastic, man. So again, aerospace, I always say to you guys, and Bill to me, I'll get your other comments, but I always tell people, like, get in aerospace, guys. If you're one of these people, you didn't like high school, you don't like being lectured to in a professor's room, go work in aerospace. A lot of times the aerospace companies are in towns that aren't, they're not going to be in the big cities for the most part. They're going to be in outside towns where the cost of living is reasonable and the salary generally pays very well at aerospace, but you can't be a druggie. Right? You got to actually work. You can't be, one of these people that likes to fuck around a lot. You're going to have to actually do some real work because you're around people that generally are high-level performers because a lot of these companies, they don't want losers in them. And I should say, Bill's me, you can probably agree with me. But again, if you're working for lower-tier companies, you're going to see a lot of those people. But as you get closer to the OEMs, like I ended up, I finished working for Gulfstream. I worked for Gulfstream for a long time. They moved me I shouldn't say all over the country. They moved me around a little bit. And so, yeah. Once you get up to the OEMs, there's a lot less bullshit. The pay is generally better. The benefits are better. The work conditions are amazing. If you guys are, outside in the mud, running shovels and auger bits and heavy machinery, when you work in aerospace, it's white floors, it's perfect climate control, and everything's lightweight because everything has to either be aluminum or honeycomb sandwich panels. So it's amazing, or you're working with titanium. So it's very easy on your body, So anyway, all right, Bill Desme. All right, cool, man. I'm glad we got you in here. Okay, the unpronounceable username. Okay, well, cool name, man. Let's see, all these idiots who have spent their entire professional life on Wall Street know nothing. Okay. Yeah, and again, like I said, when it all goes to what you want. What do you guys want your economy to be, right? Do you want to be an economy where everyone at the top makes all the money, where 10% of society buys 60% of the shit? Do you guys really want to live in that kind of economy? Because I don't. And this is one of the reasons I come in here and I advocate for this kind of stuff, because I've seen both sides of it, right? I sell a luxury product, right? So if you guys go to my business, theresplendentcrow.com, you guys will see the furniture that I sell. And again, most of us aren't going to afford it. Most people wouldn't want it. I sell to the top, whatever, 5% of the economy, right? People that make $500,000 a year and up are generally my customers. They buy my furniture, but I also hire the people that make that shit. You know, these are people making anywhere from $50,000 to $90,000 a year. They're somewhere in this salary. So I see both sides of this K-shaped economy that we're living in today. And I'm an advocate to change it. I want to see more people being in the middle of the K, right? The middle class. I want to see more people making $80,000 to $120,000 a year that can actually live in this society. But if we continue to promote this get rich quick life, you know, this get rich in finance, this VC culture, this tech culture, if we keep pushing this stuff, it's just going to get harder and harder to make it in this country. So, all right. But again, we need wealthy people. We need intelligent people. I was telling you guys, we need people to go to college. I'm not an anti-college person. I'm an anti trying to take a dumb person and make them smart at college. I don't think that works. So, all right, to Ellie's in here. LEW4N. Let's see, which trade are likely to survive AI and pay well? So, I think Ellie, I think that doing the more work you can do with your hands and the more one-off type things you can do with your hands, I think is probably the safest thing from a tech standpoint. The problem is that if we don't hire people and we don't train people, we don't train people to do this kind of work, it will get outsourced to the third world. And the only way you'll be able to get it is from places that still do it, like Vietnam and China. We've got to train people here in America to do it. And again, I'm always saying that we actually have to protect a lot of these industries, which, I mean, ultimately we're not going to do. But you cut off the third world from manufacturing. You cut off the third world from coming in here and learning this work. Because again, my entire life I've been told that if you work with your hands, you're a loser. My entire life I've been told that if you are one of these blue collar type workers, like you failed. You know, my God, don't tell your family what it is you do because they're going to think you're a loser. Like, we've been told this shit forever. And when you do that long enough, well, then you're not going to end up with a society of people that do that kind of work. And we got to change what it means to make shit in this country. You know, so to answer your question, you know, things like furniture making, cabinet making, you know, we can either outsource it to the third world or bring the third world in here to do that work, or we can protect that industry and we can pay the people here in America to do it a living wage by getting rid of the third world. You know, things like welding. We'll probably welding's something that's highly automated already, and it can be automated away. And again, everyone talks about welding like it's this great way to make a living. I'm here to tell you guys that, again, the more pre-manufacturing you do in our economy, right? So, like, take I always use the example of, like, have you guys ever seen how a cruise ship is built? People think that, you know, a cruise ship is just kind of, it's built on site. You know, you build the fuselage, you build the body of the structure of the cruise ship, and then you start building up all these individual, you know, things on the ship, and then you end up with a cruise ship. The truth is that every structure within a cruise ship is actually manufactured somewhere else other than the shipyard where the ship's being built, right? And then these structures are essentially trucked in, and they're built like Legos. And then the ship is put together, and the welders are the people that are going to be doing the welding on site. If you can be one of those welders, you're good. If you're one of the welders that's in the prefab part of the construction process, you're fucked. That job is going to be outsourced. It's going to be automated away, and that's just the reality of manufacturing today. So if you can be closer to where the work is being done, you're probably going to be in good shape. If you can be the guy that is doing the work when the assemblies come together to make the larger assembly, you're going to be good. But most things are going to get automated away. It's just the reality of it. In my business, furniture, my industry, furniture, fantastic way to make money. But at the same time, we are pre-making a lot of shit, right? So if you're one of these people that all you do is buy pre-made cabinets, cabinet makers are fucked. Because again, if every cabinet's 30 inches, houses are designed so to only accept cabinets that are 30 inches, 24 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, these standard dimensions, if future homes and future everything is built to work within a standard, there's no need for custom furniture, right? So again, that'll get automated away. So, you know, you got to get close to the source, right? You got to be people that do custom things. You got to have the ability to do multiple things at once. Like, so one of the ways that we make money is that we not only are known for a very high-end, high gloss finish, right, that you can see your face in. Not only do we produce that here in America, which is very difficult because of all the regulations that we have in America, we also make the furniture. So it used to be that people would have somebody else make the furniture, and then they would send it to us, and then we would make money on the coating and then the shipping to the customer. Now we make the bulk of our money making the furniture, providing the coating, and then shipping to the customer. You know, so businesses that do that, right, that take advantage of other companies that are hyper specialized, right? If you can bring in more services and help your customer ultimately get to what they want, I think that's a good way to make money. I think that's going to be something that's going to stick around. But again, if you're one of these people that uses generic everything, you're in deep shit. So I don't know. That's a great answer. I know that that's the answer that you want to hear, but I think any job that gets closer to the source is gonna be relevant, right? Any job that it's very difficult to eliminate variation, you're gonna have a job forever, But it's gonna be tough, So Ellie, I don't have a great answer, but as far as AI goes, if you're doing computer science, if you're doing data entry, if you're doing coding, if you're doing I would even say if you're doing what we call warm body work, like you're literally one of these guys that just fucking hangs around and waits for customers to come in. You're a guy that whatever does cleaning and picking things up around the business. If you're one of these guys that does any of that kind of work, I think your job's gone. I think AI is going to take care of that. If you're doing anything that is on a phone, you're done. If you're doing anything that's on a computer, you're done. Unless you're doing computer work and physical hands-on work, I think you're done. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on, Ellie. It's crazy where we're at in this country. But this is what it is, And I'm the guy I advocate for. Let's cut off the third world. Get rid of the manufacturing. We put massive tariffs on this stuff. Get rid of the third world. Right? Get them out of here. And then let's focus on the people here. Let's give them real work. And this thing would take a little bit longer, but I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I don't think that's what we want. I don't think that's what Trump wants. Even though he advocated for all that shit, I don't think that our president's doing any of it. And again, we're in massive distraction mode with this whole Iran thing. So I don't know, Iran. I need to say Iran. My wife fucking beats me over the head. All right, Build as met 3929. Micro is cool. You just like him because he's a conservative. No, I'm a conservative, dude. I'm a 10-year-long Trump supporter. I'm a fucking business owner. What do you think I'm gonna promote for you guys to have free healthcare and free dental and free everything at my expense? No, I'm not that guy. But Bill, this is one of the things that we like about this cast, Bill. This is one of the reasons people come in here and watch this channel. Again, I think we're at almost 400% growth. Let's pull up the numbers real quick and let me see what our channel growth is right at the minute. 399% growth, guys. Here you go. I'll show you guys just so you think you see I'm not full of shit, right? So 399% growth. Okay, yeah. There's the it's a little bit of the view. Okay, yeah. So builds again. I'm not. You can't stereotype me, dude. And again, I like Micro. I've got no problems with Micro. I love what he does. But again, I want people to understand who he is and what he advocates for and what the reality is as someone who actually has been a lifelong blue-collar worker and now has a blue-collar business, right? So this is the point of view you're going to get from me. All right, let's see. Unpronounceable username. People who repair robots. Yeah, I don't think people that repair robots are going to make any money, dude. And Elon Musk has already talked about this. I like what you're saying, and I can see how people would say that, but Elon Musk literally talks about robots making robots, right? That means if you have a robot that can make another robot, well, you're going to have a robot that can repair robots, So again, the diagnostics are going to be done by other robots, and they're going to fix each other. This is how it's going to be. And again, if we guys just look at where the Tesla Optimus robot is, right? Elon Musk is almost there. Once he figures out the fingers, right? Once that is figured out, the guy's good. They've got everything else done. If you guys look at what Boston Dynamics is doing with their robots, doing jujitsu, they've got it figured out, guys. Like I said, robots will take care of themselves. They will repair themselves. They will rebuild themselves. They will build. Everything's going to be robot controlled, and it's just how it's going to be, And I don't think that repairing robots is going to be a thing. I don't think that designing robots is going to be a thing. Like I said, AI will be able to do this. Work themselves with the robots themselves, and they will be building themselves and repair themselves. This is kind of how I see it. I'm probably not using the best words there. All right, let's see. Bill Desmet. All right, your message is retracted. We got Jim. Jimrat's back in here. Okay. If your confidence in crypto or cash, what is your confidence in crypto or cash long term? I think cash is dead, and I think crypto is probably not going to make it either. Unless the federal government decides that it's going to incorporate it as a backstop against fiat currency, i.e. cash, right? I don't know. If the federal government, like I said, if what we end up finding out, again, I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff, but if we end up finding out that there's no gold in Fort Knox, or there's a very limited amount of gold in Fort Knox, you got to have some kind of a backstop if you want to get rid of the Fed, right? If you want to get away from this fiat currency, which our currency is basically backed by our military, right? Our currency that we have today is essentially backed like how much is another country willing to call us on our bullshit, right? How much is another country willing to call us on our debt, right? That's the only way fiat currency works, right? And fiat currency only works if the people believe in it, right? And I don't know that the people are I don't know if people are having as much faith in cash as they have. Like money means nothing anymore, guys. I don't know if you guys understand this. Like money means nothing unless you're a taxpayer. Unless you're a middle class person, money means nothing. Because again, the poor, they're getting free money. Like what the fuck do they care? Like they just get money sent to them. It comes from nowhere. It comes from the sky like manna from heaven, right? Wealthy people, like the people that are in finance, these guys are getting money. They're making money on nothing. They're making money on speculation. They're making money creating businesses that create subscriptions that create digital products. They're creating nothing real. The only people that are affected by real money, and again, let's throw the government in there as well. The federal government doesn't care about money. All they do is print money. All they do is have currency that is on a spreadsheet, right? That is digital. Everything is digital, guys. Money means absolutely nothing. And then when you try and get people to account for their spending, especially in the federal government doesn't have to pass an audit. You know, there's no audit of Fort Knox. There's no audit of the Department of Defense, right? Or let me back that up. They don't have to pass an audit. How about that? We'll start there. The Department of Defense hasn't passed an audit in 8 years. The Fed has never been audited, right? Which is kind of interesting. Fort Knox, we don't know how much gold's in Fort Knox. We can't get an audit of what's going on there, right? They haven't went in there, haven't weighed the gold, they haven't measured the gold, they haven't looked at the purity of the gold. We're just told that we have to believe these things, right? Everything's good. Trust us. Everything's fine. The average middle class person has to pay their taxes. The average middle class person has to stress about money all day. The average middle class person can't afford cars, can't afford houses, can't afford property insurance, can't afford to pay for school on their own. They have to use the federal government, which is using digital money for everything. Like money means nothing, guys. Now, if the IRS shows up at your door and says, you know what, we want to audit your books, and you tell them, hey, you know what? Why don't you get back to me when you guys pass an audit? They're going to put liens on all your shit. They're going to throw you in jail. They're going to garnish your wages. They have access to do everything to you. Doesn't work that way for the wealthy people in finance because, again, the government just prints money to bail them all out because they're all too big to fail, right? The federal government, right, all the departments and institutions that we taxpayers pay for, again, they don't have to account for anything. The only people that are accountable are the middle class. The poor aren't accountable. We know the poor aren't accountable because when they are arrested 30 or 40 times, and then they go kill that Zarutska chick over there in North Carolina. They're literally arrested 40 times. They just get let off because they got no money. They got nothing. There's no reason to enforce the laws with these people because they can't do anything for anybody else. They're fucking worthless, which is bullshit. And again, I'm the guy that advocates for giving these guys skills, getting them off welfare, getting them to take pride in their life and in their work so that they don't get arrested, so they don't go rob people, so they don't think that it's cool to hang out with people that smoke weed and fucking tattoo their face all the time. Like I'm that guy, but again, I don't know, man. Money means nothing. It means absolutely nothing unless you're a wagey, unless you're a normal 9-to-5 guy, blue collar, middle-class person, then it means everything, So it's, I don't know, man. I don't have a good answer. I have no faith in cash. Zero. Like I say, if you get cash, get rid of it. Go spend it on something. Go invest in fucking comic books. Like go invest in, like I said, I'm a comic book guy. I like cars. I like my business. All my investments are in my business. Every ounce of my net worth is in my business and in my home. That's it. So I don't know. All right, Apollo 1 says buy gold. Yeah, I know. God, everyone wants to buy fucking. You guys know that finance and gold is the #1 thing on YouTube right now? It's the #1 paying thing on YouTube right now. It gets the highest CPM, the highest RPM. Finance and gold, man. That's why everyone pushes this shit, which is crazy. It makes no sense to me, but whatever. All right, let's see. This is YouTube. YouTube sucks 5. It's all manipulated. Yeah, 100%, man. Again, until we get back to really making things, until we get back to having a business where you have to convince somebody to give you money for your product or service, until we get back to a transaction-based economy and not a speculation economy, I said we're in trouble. We're in absolute trouble, so we'll see what happens. All right, Nikola Tesla, 2030. I think gold will be 10,000 an ounce by 2030. Yeah, maybe, man. It seems like gold's the only thing that has value. It's the only thing that everyone agrees on has real value because I don't think anyone believes in cash anymore. And crypto, again, crypto's been cut in half, I think. It might even be worse than that now. People are realizing that crypto's not real. And no matter who claims it's real, at the end of the day, it's just numbers on a keyboard. It's numbers on a spreadsheet. There's no physical anything. And this is the world that we've created for ourselves today. Is every fucking thing in our lives is digital or it's a subscription. The people that own the businesses make it one time and then sell it to millions and millions and millions and millions of people. And some people say, oh, God, that's smart business. And I don't disagree. But you end up with what we have today, which is this massive K-shaped economy where, again, all these people are creating all the digital shit, all the subscriptions, and all the speculative stuff that you guys like to buy, and you're buying it, you're lapping it up. Meanwhile, the guys that are making couches and making furniture and the cars, all the shit that you guys need to do anything in this world, again, they're all middle class working for these guys. It's really fucking weird, the kind of economy we have today. But whatever, man, it is what it is. All right, Jim Rat, how do you envision cash being pushed out and something else brought in? I think what it's going to be is, I think we all know where this is going. Like, it's going to be those CBDCs, right? God, I'm completely drawing a blank on the acronym. I remember the acronym, but I don't remember. It's basically digital money, digital currency. Like, I think that's probably where it's going to go. And my guess is that what'll happen is they'll slowly bring the cash in, right? So year over year, they'll not dilute the currency. They'll tighten the currency. They'll pull in whatever $50 billion a year in hard currency. They'll pull it back into the government, and then they'll issue digital currency for that, right? And the problem with digital currency is that it can be manipulated, right? We remember during COVID, how many people were doing shit during COVID, and companies like PayPal were literally closing people's accounts, right? You had banks, especially up there in Canada. Those guys were literally closing people's bank accounts for supporting those truckers, right? I don't know if you guys remember that. That's where it's going. If you go to places like China, like, again, I fight with people all the time on China. People think that China's a capitalist country over there. They're not. It's the CCP, right? It's the Chinese Communist Party. This is who rules that place. And I have to argue with these people all the time. These guys literally have what are national societal credit scores over there. So again, if you're not a good citizen, they'll reduce your money supply, right? They'll only make your currency work within a mile from your home, right? They'll have control over all this. And this is what's happening in the technocracy, guys. This is why people like J.D. Vance were put in government, because, again, J.D. Vance is Peter Thiel's bitch, right? Peter Thiel is the founder of PayPal, right? This is what these guys want, and it's very scary where our country is going, where our economy is going, Jim. So I really appreciate your comment, man, and I don't have a good answer, man. The digital currency is the only thing I can come up with, and this is what they're going to do. And again, the federal government can do it. I mean, they literally can. I mean, again, I pay people in cash all the time. I get my guys, they want me to pay them under the table and not pay them in regular cash on their paychecks, because they want to hide the amount of money that they make, because they want to get access to things like healthcare and dental. Like, they want to get access to this shit, and then you always get the people coming in saying, well, God, you just need to pay your people more. And I can't explain to people that healthcare costs $25,000 a year for a family of four. Like, that's what it costs. Like, no business can just pay, or excuse me, no small business can just, pull a rabbit out of their hat and just fucking start paying. But we don't make that much money. And this is the reality of real business. And this is what I do on this channel. I try and educate you guys on what it's like to run a real business from a guy who fucking never graduated high school. It's very difficult. I'm not sitting here getting rich, driving fucking Lambos around and, I can just do whatever I want. It doesn't work that way. I give most of my money to my employees. And this is what I advocate for, So I don't have all the answers on that one, Jim Rat. I mean, what do you think, dude? What do you think is going to happen? I want to know what you guys think. Jim Rat, let me know. How do you think? What's the next currency, right? Is it going to be crypto? Is the dollar going to then be backed by gold and crypto? Is crypto going to be the digital gold? I don't know, man. Do you think that these digital currencies are going to be the thing that the government is going to roll out, and we're all going to use that? I mean, that would be nice. I mean, talk about turning on the printing press. The government will just print whatever they want. You think there's a lot of poor people now? Like, wait till they can just print digital currency forever. Like, my God, everyone's going to be on fucking UBI, which is what Elon Musk talks about is coming. What's he call it? Like high value UBI or something like that. Like, it's scary, man. It's so scary. Okay, Joe Mama 7260. Imagine buying all your back at 500 an ounce and watching all this. So I guess what are you talking about? Gold, I guess. Yeah, and again, this is like any investment. And again, investments, like especially like things that can't be reproduced, things that aren't digital. Like, I think digital is death, guys. Like, I don't want to sound like an old man, like a troglodyte guy, but at the same time, like, I think digital's the problem, if I'm being completely honest. Everything's fucking digital, man. And when everything's digital, it's like nothing's real. So if you have something that's real, like comic books, baseball cards, gold, pick your poison, art, all these kind of, that shit's real. It can't be reproduced. Or it takes a lot more effort to reproduce it today than it did, whatever, back in the 70s when it was created, back in the 30s when it was created. So anything that's real, that has already been made and can't be made again, I think that shit's going to be worth a lot of money, So All right, Jemama's gold. Yep, I get it, man. Okay, the Mikado's in. The Mikado 16, man. Good to see you, dude. Glad you're here. Mikado, let us know what you do. Let us know where you're at. I'm telling people, put your salaries in there. Let us know what kind of money you make. You know, if you don't want to, that's fine. But definitely let us know what kind of industry you're in. We're talking about blue collar work. We're talking about the so-called experts. Mike Rowe saying that the electricians are making $260,000 a year, and I'm pouring water on everyone's dream of making $260,000 a year as a welder or an electrician or a plumber. All this stuff's bullshit. And again, not that you can't, you absolutely can. But again, TikTokers are making $1 million a month, guys. People on YouTube are making $100,000 a month. Like, do you really think that you can do that because you have a fucking phone and a YouTube account? Do you really think you can make $1 million a month because you got a fucking name on the TikTok platform? And you really think you can do that? No, you can't. But again, TikTokers are making $1 million a month. Micro says electricians are making $260,000 a year. It's the same mentality, guys. And again, I like Micro. I'm not trying not to talk a bunch of shit on Micro, but he needs to be a little more honest about what that path looks like, and needs to be a little more honest about what happens when you start out as an electrician, what you start out as a plumber, and what you start out as being a roofer, right? Being a general contractor. He needs to be honest about what that looks like and how you get to making that good money. And the truth is, the only answer, guys, is time. You know, and nobody wants to. Time is unsexy. You can't sell, my 99 a month course on how to make a bunch of money in roofing. Yeah, you can't make money on selling a book, on how to get rich, be an electrician. Like, yeah, it's not sexy. People aren't going to buy that book. You got to tell me how to do it quick. And there's no path. And that's the problem with blue collar work. It's like you got to put in the time. You got to learn the thing. And the thing takes time. It's like, well, I went to college. I learned from a professor. Yeah, professors don't actually do real work. Professors regurgitate what their professor told them. This isn't a regurgitation model. This is an on-the-job training thing, right? This is smelling the bad smells, getting up super early, driving to the store, going to the fucking Quick Trip and getting hot dogs, like learning from the old man who hits you over the head with his fucking hat all the time. Listen to the guy telling you look like you suck dick. Like it's being, where it's cold, where you got a ton of other guys that don't like you. You got, the guys that smoke weed all the time, the guys that are fucking drunk when they come to work, the guys that don't show up on time, the boss that hates you, the boss that likes you. Like, this is what blue collar life is really like. And these guys are trying to, oh, this is gonna be so amazing. You're gonna make tons of fucking money. Just go get that electrician's degree and go to trade school. And again, I talk about trade school and what a fucking joke trade school is. Trade school is literally the new college, right? Go Google Harvard starts a trade school and you're gonna find out that what these guys are trying to do is they're trying to go from getting a bachelor's in fucking business to getting a bachelor in general labor. Like, oh my God, you need to go to the Harvard Trade School of Roofing. You need to go to the fucking WashU College of Contracting. This is what they're trying to do, guys. And then guess what? Then the federal government's like, oh my God, we need to support the trade schools. We need to make sure we get the trade school, the people that want to learn how to become plumbers, the guys who want to learn how to become furniture makers. We got to send all these guys to school. Guess what? Here's some government money, guys. Go create these schools. Let's get the people in here. Guess what? The kids are going to then go to college and they're going to learn how to be a roofer. This is where it's going, guys, and this is the problem. This is the problem, okay? It used to be you got out of high school and you went to fucking work. And this is what needs to go back to, right? And you'll say, oh my God, well, businesses don't want to take chances on people. Go fuck yourself. You don't want to take a chance on people. Suck my blue collar cock, okay? I'm tired of hearing about these fucking people saying, oh my God, you got to go to college. Businesses can't afford to hire people right out of high school. Bullshit. Bullshit. It's not true. We absolutely can. Oh my God, I'm going to go get an internship. Like, these fucking people convince you to go work for free. An internship. Kiss my ass. What a fucking joke. The biggest lie is the internship, okay? We used to call this going to work. You're fucking going to work. Like, God damn, man. Like, the crazy pills that we've swallowed as a country just blow my mind. Sorry, guys, I know I'm running my mouth. This is one of those topics that I get so worked up about it. I know we need to get into talking about these fake news fucking people and just what a joke they are. Mr. Juggles in here. All right, man. Mr. Juggles, good to see you, dude. We're talking about blue collar work. Mr. Juggles, you're an economist, so I'm sure you can refute some of the things that I'm talking about. I'm talking about, again, how the experts aren't in fact the experts. Again, Mike Rowe is our quote-unquote experts on blue-collar jobs, and he's an advocate for blue-collar work. And the truth is Mike Rowe's never worked a day in his life. And again, he did a show which advocated for blue-collar work, and it was fantastic. People love to watch the monkeys, play in the zoo. Wow, this is the blue-collar worker. He loved to show that off, made a ton of money on it, and good for him. He has a scholarship program for people that want to become welders and electricians and furniture makers and all this. That's fantastic. But at the end of the day, the guy's an educated. He's got a writing degree, right? He trained to be an opera singer. Like, this guy is not a blue collar worker. He doesn't understand what blue collar work is and what it takes to be a blue collar worker and what our life is like. And I get fucking tired of it. When Sean Hannity talks about how we need to respect blue collar work, and you see that his kids are all mass communication graduates just like their dad. Got a fucking problem with that. When people like Bill Pulte, right? This is the guy that is over the housing department in our federal government. This guy literally has a big fucking housing company. His kids don't do any of that shit. Okay. Again, I'm tired of these people talking about what's good for small business and not actually doing small business. Right. The big small business advocate on Fox News, Alonzo Bowden, I forget what the fuck his name is. Like, this guy, he goes on there talking about. Again, guys, I'm not going to remember this guy's name. Alonzo something. I need to look at it again. The guy's never had a real job in his life. He's never started a small business in his life. He's literally on a board. He's got a fucking MBA. The guy's never done anything that he advocates for, because these people are not really experts and they don't really believe what they say. It just sounds good, and it's wildly frustrating. Like, where are the blue collar people on Fox News? Where are the guy that's been, the 20-year welder, right? The 20-year furniture maker. Okay, you're never going to see these guys on there, because the way that they talk and the things that they'll talk about that are actually good for society, big business wants nothing to do with it. Fox News advertisers want nothing to do with it. Okay, because again, most people don't want to hear the reality of doing this work. Wildly frustrating. Okay, all right, Mr. Juggles. All right, Glow Malone. China is amazing. I believe it, man. I bet China's fucking beautiful. Like, I've never been there. I would love to go to China. I would love to go to Shenzhen. I would love to go check these places out, but probably not going to happen, And again, do we know what China? Everyone talks shit on China, like, oh my God, they stole all of our jobs. China's our enemy. We're building up China. They got a massive military. They're going to invade Taiwan. China. They're like literally America's new Russia, the new boogeyman. And the truth is, guys, we built up China. We sent all the work over there. They built on what we sent them, all the technology, all the science, all the engineering we sent these guys. They built up on it, and they've got a beautiful country over there. And again, it might be very communist and it might be extremely authoritarian, but you can't deny that the stuff that we see looks amazing. It sure would be nice to have some of that here in America. We can't even build a fucking bridge in this country in 5 years. We can't get past the design phase, because again, all we give a shit about is like, well, do we have enough gay people, working on the bridge? Do we have enough women designing the bridge, right? How's that going to affect the Native Americans, right? Were there slaves, back in 1970 when they built the first bridge, right? Do we want to, pay reparations before we built that new bridge on stolen land? Like, this is the shit that we care about in this country. And again, it's drives me crazy, guys. So anyway, appreciate everyone being on this one. If you're in the discussion, again, the algorithm's all messed up. I don't know what's going on with our algorithm today, but hit the like button, add the discussion. Let us know where you are, what you make, what kind of an industry you're in. Again, if you don't want to share that information, that's fine. That's one of the things I'm asking people to do on our stream today. I want to know what you guys make. Again, are you an electrician? Do you make $260,000 a year? Are you a welder making 150 grand a year, right? Are you a crane operator making $200,000 a year? Let us know what you do. Give people ideas about what they can do to make really good money. Never mind if you like it. We don't want to go into that. But okay, let's see. This is again, China's amazing, as they should. All right, that's what you're saying there. All right, this is Jameson Ryan. I guess Jameson Ryan 309. Fantastic, man. Glad you're here. I don't know if I've seen you before. Thanks for being here. Anyone's been here for the first time? Small business owner here. I got 9 guys that work for me. We make American-made furniture. We move about 500 pieces a year. We ship it all over America. We're known for that high-gloss lacquer coating, the one you can see your face in. 94% of my customers are women. I'm not a guy that sells shit to other men. I sell it all to women, and it's a great business, right? Great way to make money, great middle-class living. You're probably never going to get rich. So that's what I talk about. Never graduated high school, found a way to get really good at making furniture, worked for all the best aerospace companies in the world, and now I got my own business. So I tell you guys my story, my path, and I approach things from this standpoint, a normie's point of view. All right, $2,500 fine hidden in the fine print of all your Venmo, PayPal for each offense they find, hate speech online. Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. Again, I don't know, how far am I back in the comments, guys? I'm sorry, I'm doing okay. If you guys want your comment read right away, put it in a super chat, super like. I don't think it's necessary this time. I think I can, if you guys are patient, I can make it to all the comments. Okay, yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, guys. When you have digital currency, when everything becomes digital, again, all these business, and I should say all these businesses, there's only a couple businesses in pretty much every industry that control all the brands within those industries, right? You'll find out that every smaller company is owned by the big company. And this is the problem that we have in this country. There is no real competition in this country, guys. I hate to tell you this. It's just how it is. But yeah, a lot of these companies they're going to have verbiage. And again, PayPal was the example that I use. I'm sure it's the same with Venmo and all the rest of them. If they don't like what you say, if the government or the business itself finds that what you say to be hate speech, right? If you talk about the Jews, if you talk about black people, if you talk about lesbians, the trannies, you say any of this shit, they can cut your money off. They can deny you access to your own money, or they can deny other people sending you money. And this is a problem. This is a major problem, and there's a lot of businesses out there that have this fine print in there, and it's a bad deal. Like PayPal, I closed my PayPal account. Like the minute they started cutting off people's money, access to their money, it's like, okay, well, you guys are fucking crooks. You're gone. But again, did the FCC or anyone look into this business, right? Probably not. Did anyone push back against this company for doing that kind of stuff, especially what happened to up there in the truckers, right? Like they're in Canada. Again, did anyone push back on these companies? Not likely. But we're in trouble, guys. Like, we got to get, the digital world is a problem, and again, there's a lot of great things about it, but it's becoming a problem. And again, when you look at what we're advocating for today, companies like Palantir being essentially running the military, right, making the decisions. I mean, there's a lot of speculation around those 165 girls that were killed over in Iran. There's a lot of speculation that was an AI target. That was a target package that was selected by one of these AI business, whether it's Palantir, I don't know what company it was, but it wasn't selected by information on the ground or by a human. It was done by AI. And if that's the case, well, it's not a great way to start a conflict, But anyway. Okay, crypto, Bitcoin. All right, Jameson, Ryan, I don't know what exactly we're saying there. For each offense, they find hate speech alone. Okay, this is Grummelin. Then advocate for universal health care then. Okay, and a grow line, I do advocate for universal health care, but I advocate for it in a way that makes sense. I don't advocate it for it in the way that most of the fucking dumb fucks want. Like, I'm not one of those guys. Again, all the countries over in Europe, right? Almost all those countries have universal health care, and they have universal child care, right? The country of Israel, universal health care, universal child care, okay? They have all that shit, right? But what they don't have to do is they don't have to pay for their defense. Okay, because again, America is NATO. Like, contrary to what you've been told, that everyone pays in. No, Trump has talked about this for a long time, and he was 100% right. NATO hasn't been paying its bills for a long time because they didn't have to, because America was there as a backstop. Israel can fuck with everyone in the Middle East and punch way above its weight and create destabilization in an entire part of our world because America backstops them. They can pay for things like universal health care and universal child care for their people because they don't actually have to pay the true cost of defending themselves. Americans pay for all of it. We have $1 trillion military spending package that we pay every year for our military to defend the rest of the world. Okay, so every place we defend has the thing that everyone here in America claims they want, yet we cannot get our government to pull back from these regions, kind of like Trump said he was going to do. Trump's advocated for getting out of NATO forever. Trump's advocated for ending these conflicts or pulling back from these conflicts, right? And again, you want to end these conflicts right away, just get America to pull back. Guess what? Israel's not going to talk as much shit without America behind him. NATO, isn't going to be as fucking lazy and entitled as they are if America isn't there, right? Europe's going to have to defend himself if they see what Russia's doing over in Ukraine. But again, America always comes in and stops everyone. And again, every country that we go fuck with has universal health care and universal child care. We don't. Okay, so you guys need to think about this kind of stuff. If you guys want these kind of things, you're truly advocate for these kind of things, you got to be willing to take less of something so that you can get more of something. And again, are you guys voting for this? I don't know if you are. It doesn't seem like it matters who you vote for. It seems like everyone in America wants universal health care and universal child care, but we just can never seem to get it done. Which again, I'm the guy that says voting doesn't work anymore. I don't believe that voting works, right? I'm the guy that supported Trump for 10 years. I'm also going to vote Democrat for the first time in my life. I'm going to vote across the board until the Republican Party brings me someone that is going to do what they say they're going to do. Because Trump was supposed to be that guy. He wasn't. It's the first time in my life I actually believe we were going to get the illegals kicked out. We were going to get massive tariffs to get rid of the third world. We were going to bring manufacturing back to this country by incentivizing people to use the people in this country to make shit. Trump didn't do it. It's just more of the same. It's more of the foreign conflicts, the more of wasting our money at the federal level, the no checks and balances on our government, and you guys just keep paying your 22.5%. More money, more welfare, more incentivizing poor people to stay poor forever, incentivizing the poor to do drugs, smoke weed. Again, the incentives in this country, they're all fucked, guys. And I don't know how much clearer to make it. Like, this is the thing we got to work on in this country, and that's what I advocate for. So if you guys like this kind of content, hit the like button, and again, put your comments in there. I'll continue to read them. All right. And Gromaline, I don't think you're, or Gromaloni, however the hell you say it. I don't think you've watched this cast very much. But again, give this cast, give us 5 watches, and you'll see exactly what I advocate for. So, all right, let's see. Dongle Springs, advocate for the abolition of poverty. And again, what's your plan? All right, a Dongle Spring. What is your plan? How do you get rid of poverty? Okay, I've advocated for it ad nauseum on this channel. Okay, and again, you probably haven't been here for a long time. We got a lot of newbies in here. Listen to a couple of streams. I'm the guy that says cut the welfare off. Get rid of it. And you guys, oh my God, Eric's so sad. He doesn't care about the poor. He hates black people. He hates, poor women. He hates little kids. No. I'm the guy that says, you know what? You want fucking welfare? You're going to go to work for a small business. You're going to go to work for a big business. Guess what? Government, you're going to pay the big business to teach these people some shit. You want that welfare money? You want that sweet Section 8 and that EBT? You're going to go to work for someone. You're going to provide a skill. You're going to provide some value to your country. You're going to provide some value to a small business. You're going to learn to do something that you're useful to society. I will not let you be a degenerate. I will not let you get free shit. I will not advocate for you to be poor forever. I will not do it. I'm going to teach you something. You're going to fucking learn something, right? And this is what I advocate for when I say no welfare. You want welfare? You got to do some work. And then you can have universal health care. You can have universal child care. Guess what? We will pay for someone to go watch your kids. High quality health care, high quality child care. We'll pay for that shit. But guess what? You're not going to get it for nothing. Those days are over. And that's the thing that I advocate for. So, all right. Let's see. Jameson Ryan 3009. Well, you can't force a service into a right. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. Mr. Denham, 1B4N. Yes, sir. I'm in the stock markets. All right, cool, man. Fantastic. Let us know what you do. Are you a day trader? Do you work for another company? What do you make? Are you guys willing to put your salaries out there? Because again, I hear a lot of people talking shit. I don't see much in the way of numbers. I don't see people telling us what they do a lot. Again, we don't do a lot of bullshit on this channel. Like I said, I call everyone out, right? You're going to fucking do what we want you to do in the stream, or you're not going to participate. Our moderators will just get rid of you. We'll get rid of your bullshit comments. We have productive conversations here. That's why this cast works. All right, I'm not just here regurgitating information that I read on the news, right? I'm giving you real life anecdotes, real life experiences, let you guys know exactly what my business is, how we make money, how we lose money, how we hire, how we fire, what our employers are looking for, what they're not looking for, how the economy really works from a small business owner's point of view. Mr. Juggles. All right, dude, man. Glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming in. It would be insane if currency was backed by crypto. First, it doesn't do what gold does being a real asset. Yeah, man, you're 100% right. And to your point, would just see wild fluctuations in value. Yeah, and I think you're right there, Juggles. And again, people are looking for something to replace gold. Like, I think that it's not middle class people looking for something to replace gold. It's the people that know what's really going on with the gold in this country. I think they're looking for something to replace it because it's not there. And again, when something's backed by gold, you can't fucking find enough gold to print money forever, to increase and inflate your money supply forever. It's impossible. You got to create real products and things that create real value. You can't just live in a debt-based leveraged society forever, which is made possible by the Fed. We just can't keep doing this because we see what's happening. The hyperinflation and no, it's not hyperinflation, but the accelerated inflation that we've been seeing over the last 10 years is literally inflating away entire generations of young people starting families, entire generations of young people getting to live the American dream. It's killing what moves society forward, which is having kids, which is the benefits that come from working hard, learning new skills, providing value, products and services for other people. Like, this is what makes this country great. And we're just destroying it with inflation, printing the money, giving everybody what they want at the expense of the middle class. Like, it's insane, Mr. Juggles. And yeah, I don't know. I know, Mr. Juggles, do you think there's anything that could maybe not replace gold, but could could do the same thing that gold does? Again, I'm always talking about things like comic books because I love comic books. Things that can't be, things like art, right? Things that can't be reproduced digitally. Which is, again, this is the thing that the federal government has to figure out. They got to find a way to pay people with digital money. They got to find a way to convince everyone to put value in something that doesn't really exist. And they made it a long way with crypto, but I don't know. I don't know if crypto's going to make it, man. All right, Jameson Ryan 3009. Crypto is better than the fiat currency we use. Inflate money printers only benefits. Infinite money printer only benefits political handshakers and big corporations. The blue collar guys get hammered by inflation, and the modern monetary theory. Yeah, and again, this is the problem. Like if you own assets, if you own things that are very difficult to reproduce, things that actually have to be made that take days, weeks, and years to build, those things always accelerate in value, right? Especially when you're printing money. Like those assets, the hard assets continue to go up. Meanwhile, the guy that's buying taquitos at Quick Trip on his way to go fucking build a house, right? That guy's money is being inflated away by the gas he buys. It's being inflated away by the insurance he has to pay. It's being inflated away by the taquitos that he's buying, the Monster energy drink that he buys every day. It's being inflated away by the tools that he buys every day. Because when that money starts, it all starts at the bank level, right? The banks, they give it to the people that they want to give it to, right? Those people, they give it to the people that they want to give it to. And then it makes its way down to the wagee in 6 to 12, 18 months. And finally, the cost of everything has gone up. And so every dollar that the wagee is getting buys less because there's more dollars out there. Like I say, it makes perfect sense to me. I don't know that people understand why inflation is so bad. And again, people will say, oh, God, inflation is only 2.4%. It's so much better than when Biden was in office. Yeah, but the compounding effects of Trump, Biden, and now Trump again has made everything unaffordable because businesses, we can't afford to just raise our employees' prices whenever they want because the cost of all of our shit's going up as well. And you can only raise your prices so much. And now I operate in a luxury space, which allows me to raise my prices probably more than most people. But at the same time, most businesses don't operate that way. So yeah, we got big problems, Jameson. Big problems, man. Mr. Juggles, make the big bucks and become an economist. Yeah, I know. Economist, where does your money come from? Are you paid by a research institution or are you paid by a business? I'm very curious where your money comes from, dude, because if it comes from research, that means it comes from the federal government, right? If it comes from a business like whatever, Goldman Sachs, right? It's basically being bought, it's being stolen. This is how I kind of see. You know, if you're an economist and you're being paid by a big business like Walmart, okay, you're making real money, okay? That makes sense to me. If you're an economist and you're getting paid by whatever, D.R. Horton, like that makes sense to me. But again, economists, tell us who writes your paycheck, man. I want to know where your money comes from. Okay, let's see, Glomalone. I don't know, man. I hope I'm saying your name right. It's obvious you never graduated high school. I know, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Again, I'm very open and honest about it. You can't shame me anymore. My shame is I've won the game, dude. I'm good. Okay, the Mikado 16, I'm a machinist. Yep, from Pittsburgh, $60,000. Thinking about switching trades, better opportunities. Currently in process to be a border patrol agent. Man, that's cool, dude. I think that's great. You know, that would probably be a lateral move in salary at a minimum. You know, and I've heard that those border patrol guys, they're getting fat bonuses to go over there, which is good. You know, I got nothing wrong. And again, there were $180 billion we're putting the one big beautiful bill. Specifically for border and mass deportation. You know, so my guess is there's a shit ton of money there to pay you guys. You probably get great benefits, so on and so forth. You know, but your salary is $63,000 a year. That brings up one of the things I want to talk about. So guys, let me give you what trade jobs really pay. Okay? And again, you guys don't have to agree with me. This is an aggregation of information from Grok, right? So this is looking at all of the people that hire, all the people that fire, all the business sites like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all that kind of stuff. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, Mr. Juggle, since you're an economist guy. This is an aggregation of all the data. Okay, so let me go through this real quick. Give me just a minute, and we'll jump back into comments. Okay, so Micro says that electricians are making $260,000 a year. Okay, when we go on Grok, we see what's the average salary for an electrician. It's about $61,000 a year, because this is how society really works. Okay. Again, you can be the best of the best and probably make $260,000 a year, but I've told you guys what it takes to do that. You can't just, you know, go to the job down the road, you know, while you come home to your wife and kids every night. No, you're out on a fucking oil rig. You're out in the panhandle, you know, where there's no electricity, working off of a fucking generator, living in the back of a tent. Okay, this is how you make that money. Okay, you're not going to make that easy money. Okay, and then the rule of averages states that most people are going to be average. So again, you're not going to be the guy that volunteers for everything. You're not going to be the guy working tons of overtime. You're not going to be the guy going to where your boss needs you to go. You're not going to be that guy. Most people just want to go put in their 8 hours and come home. Okay, nothing wrong with that, but you're making $61,000 a year. Okay, you're making even less if you're just getting into the trade, because guess what? You don't fucking know anything, and this is reality. Okay, the average salary for a welder is $46,000 to $72,000 a year, but Micro told me it's 150 grand. Okay, Micro is talking about the AI companies that are hiring people. They're stealing everyone they can to build up their AI centers. There's absolutely money to be made. There's no doubt about it. But guess what? Most people aren't going to go do that work. Okay, and this is just the reality of it, right? Most people aren't working on contract. Most people aren't doing the things that they got to do to make that fat money. And guess what? The guy coming out of college that is willing to travel, the guy coming out of trade school that's willing to travel around, he ain't making that fucking money either, because he hasn't proven himself. He doesn't know anything. All he knows is what he learned coming out of school, okay, which is something, but it's still not what you need to do, okay? Average salary for a fireman, right? $56,000 to $63,000 a year, okay? Again, we all respect firemen. We love firemen. They get on the calendars, you know, it's a job that we all kind of look up to, but again, they're not paid a ton of money either, okay? CNC operator, $49,000 to $58,000 a year, okay? I got a CNC. I get a pretty good idea what that thing pays. I thought these guys were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, right? They're doing the technology jobs, right? We got to align the workforce with what the businesses want, okay? Well, if the businesses need these guys so bad, why are they only paying, you know, minimum fucking salary for these jobs? Why is it not $100,000 a year, okay? Because the truth is that anyone can operate a CNC today. The work's been made pretty easy. It's not difficult anymore, okay? It's not what it used to be. It's not cutting edge technology. It's actually standard, normal technology, okay? Policemen, what are policemen making? Average salary for a policeman, $72,000 to $77,000 a year. Okay, policeman actually makes the most out of everyone. Okay, and it fucking should, because again, their life's on the line literally every day. It kind of makes sense, but again, this is what I consider to be middle class pay. $77,000 a year. That's middle class money. That means you are treading water. You're not doing what Kevin O'Leary says and saving 20% of your salary and becoming a millionaire when you're 45 years old. Okay. Insane. Machinists, all right, we got a machinist in here. Machinist average salary is $54,000 to $64,000 a year. So if we take what Mikado said as a machinist making $63,000 a year, it sounds like these numbers are probably right. Okay, now you can listen to the experts. You listen to the people on television telling them like, oh my God, blue collar jobs are amazing. Everyone's got to become a blue collar worker. Blue collar is where it's at. Okay, they're all fucking lying to you. They're absolutely lying to you about what blue collar work is. They're not talking to the blue collar worker because guess what? The blue collar worker is not articulate. He's not going to speak in advertiser-friendly language. He's not going to tell the Fox News guy what he wants them to hear. Mike Rowe will tell you that every time because it's good for Mike Rowe. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys what's good for the blue-collar worker. I'm going to tell you guys what's good for the guy that wants to work with his hands. I'm going to tell you what's good for the guy that gets in his shitbox car every day, goes to fucking Quick Trip, fills up his car with gas, gets his taquitos and his Monster, and goes to the fucking job site. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys what that life's really like. And again, there's nothing wrong with this fucking awesome life. But also that these people that are advocating for tradespeople and blue-collar worker, when they go home, they're telling their kids, don't you dare go do that fucking loser work. It is still alive and well. The thing that we've heard our entire life is still alive and well everywhere. It hasn't changed one bit. Okay? It hasn't. And again, if Donald Trump was an advocate for blue-collar work, and if Donald Trump was an advocate for small business and the things that he ran on, he fucking lied to us about, he wouldn't be saying, oh my God, we need all the fucking Chinese to come in here and prop up all of our institutions of higher learning. He'd be saying the thing that I always say, which is, hey, you know what? There ain't enough people to go to these colleges because the colleges aren't producing people that are making enough money to go live in the real world. They're not doing it. So guess what? They got to close down. This is how every business and every industry works in this country, except research, except academics of higher learning, or academic institutions of higher learning. It's all based on federal money. That's all it comes down. And again, when money doesn't really matter, guess what? You can just send money everywhere. Bring the people in here that you need to keep these institutions alive, because again, the American people aren't seeing the benefit. They're not seeing any of it. It doesn't work. But it works great for people in China. It works great for people in the third world because they can then take that knowledge back to where they come from that isn't America, and they can benefit from it. So we are paying as a country through our tax dollars to support these institutions of higher learning through research grants, right, and guaranteed student loans. And then the guys that come here, they're paying the out-of-state or the out-of-country tuition, which is actually how these things should work, if I'm being completely honest. They then take that money and that knowledge, they take it back to their country, and they help build up their country. So America, our institutions of higher learning are literally paying to build up the rest of the world. It sucks. And then the corporations that have all the money, that have all the jobs, right, that are getting all this AI government money, the trillions of dollars in these infrastructure bills, these small business DOD loans, right, that the lithium guys were getting, that all of the wind farm companies get, that the solar panel companies are getting. They're taking all that money, and then they're using it to build up the third world at the expense of all you guys. It's fucking disgusting. It's so disgusting how this country operates. It just blows my mind, guys. It just, I can't get right with it. All right, Mikado, man, I appreciate you sharing your salary and what it is you do, guys. Again, put your salaries in, okay? A Big Juggles economist, let us know what you make, right? Who pays you? I want to know where your check. Okay, Big Juggles Mikado. Let's see, that's not true of current crypto. Jameson, the biggest problem is that its value fluctuates. All right, Mr. Juggles, imagine getting paid in Bitcoin, then going to buy bread and finding out your paycheck has lost 30% of its value. Yeah, well, again, I think if you, like Juggles, you got to admit this, man. You're an economist, right? If you go look at the salary of today and the salary from 40 years ago, it has not kept up with inflation. I mean, again, I literally fucking pay people. Okay, I know what people are making today. Okay, and trust me, people today are making much more than I was making back in the early 2000s. Okay, the cost of everything has doubled, by the way, and in some cases even tripled. But the salaries aren't keeping up. Where is all that money going? Come on, Mr. Economist, let us know. Okay, let's see. And I gotta if I hear technology, I'm gonna jump through the fucking screen. I'm gonna strangle you. Okay, Jamaline, internships haven't existed for a decade. Get with the times. Okay, well, anyway, fantastic. Okay, I got two daughters that were just in college. Okay, and guess what they both got? Okay, so that wasn't 10 years ago. That was fairly recent. All right, let's see. Jay, man, I can't even pronounce your name, man. We're gonna call you K Gel. Okay, let's see. Big, that is the damn issue. All right, again, let us know what the issue is, dude. You got to give something to work with. Unpaid internships are insane. Not a thing here at all. I can't imagine going to work for someone for free. It's nuts. Yeah, it's crazy, Juggles. Jim Brat, crypto's has always made me very nervous. All right, well, it's something, man. We got to come up with something to, again, the dollar's collapsing, guys. Society is losing faith in money. The way you and I are paid, the society is losing faith in that because it doesn't buy what it used to buy. And it doesn't seem like the federal government cares about it because they print it whenever they need it and they just give it out to everyone. They prop up businesses that should fail, institutions, industries that are antiquated. They prop them up, right? And then they just hand out money to the poor like it doesn't matter. There's no budget for any of this stuff. They give money to the old people, the elderly, to buy votes, even though Social Security and Medicare don't balance out. They don't pay for themselves. They just print money to support all this stuff. So clearly money doesn't work, right? When you and I are audited by the IRS, if we don't pass our audit or we don't pay what we owe, they send us to jail. They put liens on all of our shit. They'll auction everything we have off to pay those bills back. But none of the institutions in our government have to do the same thing. They're not responsive to that. Okay, and this is why everyone's losing faith in the way that our system works, why the way that our currency works. And this is why people are looking for something else, like whether it's gold, diamonds, crypto, Ethereum, whatever thing it is you have. This is why people buy comic books and buy art and stuff like that. It's because, again, that shit has real value because it can't be reproduced. It can't just be printed. So anyway, Mr. Douglas says, I'm an actual expert mate you can trust. What I have to tell you. All right, yeah, Mr. Douglas is an economist for you guys that don't know. Wildly smart dude. Me and him don't agree on everything, but we pay attention to everything he says because, again, if he is an academic economist like he says, we gotta believe it. We gotta take him at his word and listen to what he has to say. So again, anyone that puts their profession out there, that comes in here and talks all the time, I try and make note to remember what it is you do. Right? Mikado is a machinist, right? So if you guys want to know what machinists make, how that industry's doing, talk to him. You guys want to know about furniture? You want to know about painting? You want to know about small business? This is what I do. You guys want to know about aerospace? I was in it for 20 years, excuse me. So I can talk at length about any of that kind of stuff. We've got doctors in here. You guys want to know about that industry? We got nuclear engineers in here. We've got a lot of small business owners. One of our moderators, Titan Brew, owned an asphalt company for a long time. So we got a lot of cool people in here. All right, let's see. Big, if the thing consistently is negative, I don't trust it. Jameson Ryan, fair, but as of today, if you had $100 in 2010, you've lost half your purchasing power in power on that. By the way, specifically has volatility, but the premise of Bitcoin versus fiat is the issue. Okay, well, again, you guys are talking above my head. All I know is that I said I bought my first home in 2000 and God, it was like 2002, 2003. I paid $100,000 for it. I paid $99,000 for it. I sold it 4 or 5 years later for $125,000. I bought a home during COVID. I paid $550,000 for it. And again, the value that you get for a home, or excuse me, the price that you pay for a home today is nothing like what it was 20 years ago. And again, I know we got inflation and the cost of things always goes up, blah, blah, blah. We can talk about it from the economy standpoint, but the wages that I was making back then, I was making as much or more in the early 2000s than I was making at the end of my career, right? So I made about $80,000 at the end of my career. I was making over $100,000 a year back then, so the wages aren't keeping up with the cost of everything, and I know a lot of it has to do with printing money and a lot of it has to do with bailing out corporations, all this kind of stuff. I get all that, but the facts are the facts. So, all right, Mr. Douglas, who we got? Okay, let's see. It is jelly. Now, if you wanted to somehow stabilize it, maybe, but now you're back to fiat currency issued centrally, backed by either a promise or gold. So why use it? Okay, you guys are talking about crypto again. You can't have a currency also be an investment vehicle. The fluctuations completely go against its purpose. Yeah, and Mr. Jones, you're right. Again, I used to not understand what you're saying right there, but you're 100% right. You're 100% right. It's very difficult to have something that's based on scarcity and then also use it as a currency, right? Or a thing that everyone can use to purchase and sell, right? A thing instead of bartering, you have to have that currency. So I think kind of makes sense to me. Okay, big juggles. It's a vehicle for trade. Yep. Again, yeah, trade. Trade's the word that I should have used. Blake Hunter, 3485. Someone needs electrical. All right, big. What is crypto based on? Okay, James Jameson, true. I'm not saying Bitcoin in current form is a perfect replacement. It just is tweaked. Crypto smart contracts could solve the immoral inflation fiat system. Yeah, I don't know, man. Big juggles. I make plenty. Okay, and again, I love all these people. They love to talk shit. Like again, I make so much money. Like again, I don't know what the problem is, dude. Like again, I think that big juggles. I don't want to know how much you make. Then I want to know who pays you. Are you paid by a large corporation, or are you paid by an institution of higher learning? Are you paid by Walmart, or are you paid by Harvard? Okay, it's very telling how a person thinks depending on who writes their paycheck. You know, it can dictate how you look at the world pursuant to who pays your salary, right? It's very important. And maybe I'm crazy, but it's very important. It's very informative if you would tell us where your money comes from. Does it come from academia? Does it come from the federal government by ways of research grants, right? Are you part of a fellowship? Are you a think tank? Does the think tank get paid by Amazon? Does the think tank get paid by the DoD? It's very important to know where people make their money, okay? Like, I make my money from wealthy people, right? I have to convince a person who actually has money, don't know how they got it, but actually has money. I have to convince them to buy my shit. This is the problem with our economy today. We got too many people that are getting money that is printed. They're getting money that comes from speculation. They're getting money that comes from endowments. They're getting money that comes from places that use printed dollars or money that comes from the government. We don't have enough people making money providing real products and services to other people. This is why our economy doesn't work for most people today. Or they're making their money using slave labor, or they're making their money in places that don't use the regulations that we have here in America, right? They're working around the system that we have here rather than making the system we have here better. This is almost all the problems that we have in this country today, okay? All right, Jason Mayer, again, Jason Meyer, excuse me. Jason Myers, I've never seen you before, dude. Jason Meyer, R8U, see, I would invest in Bitcoin, but I have no home and have to use my entire check just to survive monthly. This is what a lot of people deal with, Jason, so I get it, man. Okay, what I'm trying to explain to you, James, is that all the things you say you can't like, all right? And again, who is this? Anyway, I'll let you guys know. Crypto would make be functional as it would need to adopt to be functional. Yes, 100%. This is Gel. Okay, where does the money of crypto comes? Where does the money of crypto come? Okay, God dang, guys, we got to type a little bit better, guys. Let's get some better typing going on the stream. I know it can be difficult, but let's a little more better questions, okay? Currencies need to have stable value. Yes, and this is one of the good things about gold. Again, if you could just print something ad nauseum, guys, if you can just create it out of thin air, right, that means that anyone can create out of thin air. It can be manipulated, right? You don't know where it comes from. You don't know how it's created. This is a big problem, right? This is one of the things that gold has been around forever. Everyone understands the intrinsic value of gold, right? It's been a store of value forever, wildly stable, though has went up a lot significantly. Okay, let's see. You guys talking about crypto? All right, cool. The only reason crypto has value is that the people who own and want to buy it agree it has value. Yes, and again, this whole speculation thing, like, is just again, our country. I wouldn't say most of the money, but too much of the money in our economy is built on speculation, and it's been this way for a long time now. And we got to get the speculation out of our economy. Like speculation is a massive problem. It's one of the reasons you guys can't afford homes anymore. It's one of the reasons that gas does what it does, oil does what it does, commodities do what they do. Everyone's speculating on where the price is going, and there's too much of our economy based on people making money or losing money on speculation. Okay, let's see. That's bullshit. All right, good. What's bullshit, dude? This is a Nitrox Sam 66. What's bullshit? Put something in. Give us a little more to work with, dude. Okay, it's not true that the fiat currency, which is backed by government, it's not true of a fiat currency, which is backed by government. Yeah, but again, when your government can just print money ad nauseum, your government's not really backed by anything other than force, right? The fact that we have a military. So we can go down that road. Okay, so crypto has no true value. Again, like crypto only has value if people believe it has value, just like money. Fiat currency only has value if people believe it has value. Once people lose faith in the dollar will have no value. The people will select something else, right? The only reason gold works is because it's been around forever, right? It's been a store of wealth for hundreds and even thousands of years, right? But if everyone suddenly decided, you know what, we don't want to use gold anymore, guess what? Gold would be worth nothing. The people can choose to put their faith in the value of whatever it is they want to do. You just have to get enough people to believe in it. Like, all right, I think that is like this. Crypto is literally the empty promissory note someone issued, and the market is like, yeah, market size value. It's not backed by any real asset. Yes, 100%. Again, it's scarcity. It's the idea of scarcity, guys. Again, if there's only, and I forget how many like crypto coins. Let's just say it's 20 billion. I forget what the number is. But again, if you guys are told that there's only 20 million coins, right? And then everyone decides that these coins are going to be super valued, that for whatever reason, you put faith in these coins. Enough people start believing and saying, guess what? Everyone wants those coins, right? So then because of the scarcity, right, you end up with more people paying or being willing to pay more of their fiat money for this crypto coin, right? They're putting their value in that. Again, this drives speculation. This drives excitement. This drives anticipation. This drives what causes the cost of something to go up, right? Or excuse me, the value of something to go up. This is how crypto works. Now, it turns out that, guess what? There's more crypto coins. Suddenly, oh my God, we go from having 20 million coins. Well, you know, suddenly we've made 21 million coins. Now there's another million coins, right? So it gets diluted. But if people still believe in it, right, then the value then goes back up. And this is how it works, guys. It's like, this is not rocket science, you know? And again, it's only because people prop it up. People talk about it like it's the next great thing. If it wasn't for COVID, guys, crypto would be worth dick. Like, what happened during COVID was insane, guys. Like, literally everyone was online looking for the next great thing because there was so much money being splashed around the economy. Everyone was looking for ways to spend that money because most people that had the money knew that it wasn't going to be worth anything. So they had two classes of people. One class bought hard assets like houses, like crypto, like comic books, like stocks. And as the inflation came in, those things continued to go up in value, right? Meanwhile, most people, right, spent it on food. They spent it on subscriptions. They spent it on, you know, whatever, buying fucking art supplies. They spent it on regular old things that, you know, like tennis shoes, like clothes, all these kind of things, and made the business owners super fucking wealthy, right? And when the inflation kicked in, everything the smart people bought continued to go up in price with inflation. Meanwhile, everything you guys bought, you had nothing. You might have had a little bit of savings, maybe had a little bit of cash, which again is worth nothing as inflation came in. All the bullshit food you bought, all the clothes you bought, all the fun shit, the vacations you went on, oh my God, girl power, I'm gonna go to Cabo. All that shit, worth nothing. This is what happened. This is why we are where we are today. And it's still happening. Oh, man. Okay, again, I appreciate everyone being here this morning. Hit the like button out of the discussions. You guys get me working. Let's see where we're at in the comments. Well, I'm not too far behind. Okay, I've given you guys 112 minutes. This is pretty good. Let's go to the end of our stream where we're going to read some comments. We're going to start with Rodney Slinger, looks like. Great name, dude. Let's see. We'll go with Mr. Juggles. Then we'll go to Rodney Slinger. I'm going to read the last couple of comments here, and we're probably going to end the stream today. We got a lot of people talking crypto, which is great. Again, I wanted to get into talking about the charlatans that we have on the news media. I'm trying to tell you guys how small business and blue-collar work really is, and hopefully you guys realize that a lot of these guys talking about this stuff on the news, they're all full of shit. They're acting in their interests. They're acting in their corporate interests. They're acting in their sponsor's interest. They're not acting in your interest. So, all right, Ted Big Joe says, I build real things, buy land, sell things. I manage commercial functions in real businesses. All right, Mr. Juggles, again, send us a website. Send us a link. Let us know what you do. Again, at this point, you've been here long enough. I've talked to you long enough. I understand what it is that you do. You seem like you know what you got going on there. At some point, you got to tell us what it is. You got to be a real person. You can't just be a guy that comes on here and spends a whole bunch of time on YouTube going back and forth with people with no information. So you got to let people know. And again, maybe we can just go to your page. Maybe you got something on there. I've never looked at it, but all right. Rodney Slinger, man, great name. What is the difference between the poor people living off welfare and your employees hiding their income so they can get free or reduced health care? Again, my guys don't do that. I'm telling you guys that this is what's happened as they've moved further up in the middle class. As you go from making $50,000 a year to making $75,000 a year, the biggest thing that is harming the middle class right now is their lack of access to healthcare and childcare. And again, as small business owners, we would have to pay an extra $10 an hour for all of our employees to get them all healthcare. That's just healthcare. That's not even talking childcare. Childcare is almost as expensive as healthcare, dude. And this is the problem. Until our society incentivizes people to get out of being poor and seeing the benefits of entering the middle class, which they don't, right? When the guy that's on welfare gets in the middle class, guess what? You take away his welfare. When they say, well, how the fuck do I pay for all these kids that I had while I was poor and wasn't making good decisions? Well, if you go up to the middle class, guess what? Life actually gets harder. This is the problem we have in our economy today, guys. And I again, as someone who was a W-2 forever and then was the guy writing the paychecks, like, this is the problem that I see in this country. And again, when you got guys on the fucking news telling them, oh God, just go become a welder, you're gonna make $260,000 a year. And then I tell you, hey, the actual average salary is $61,000 a year. Guess what? If you want people to have kids, you want people to enter into working on the American dream, but they can't afford to have kids, right? Because they can't afford the child care and they can't afford the health care. Right? You're fucking them. You're making it difficult for them to enter into the thing that I had when I was coming up in the 90s, or excuse me, in the early 2000s. Okay? The economy doesn't work for a lot of these people today, and we need to fix the economy. And again, as long as we're sending weapons and military aid and fighting wars in places we're never going to go for countries that have universal health care and universal child care, this country's not going to get better, guys. And I don't know how much clearer I can make it, you guys. Again, I'm not paying my people less money. I'm not hiding income. I'm a legit business. Like, again, I can't do that. When my guys tell me they want me to do that, I can't do it for them. And I won't do it for them because I want to operate as a legit small business. I don't want to be paying people under the table, sending the work to the third world, bring the third world in here and do all the fucking work. This is what we have happening today. Donald Trump was supposed to help us out with that. He's not doing it. This is why you guys can't make enough money. This is why everyone's struggling to fucking figure out what to do. This is why, again, no one's having kids. We went from the boomers having 3 children per woman to what we have today, which is 1.4 children per woman. Okay? It's unsustainable. This is why you have to bring the third world in. No one's having any fucking kids. I don't know how much clearer to make to you guys. So, but again, Rodney Slinger, I love it when you focus on the one little thing that the one morsel of thing that I said and try and blow it into something that I didn't actually say. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. All right, Ellie W4N. So you say college is a waste of time. No, that's not what I said. People should just get blue-collar jobs and trade work, but also they are treading water for many years. Okay, again, I'm not telling you guys don't go to college. I'm not telling you college is a waste of time. College is amazing for smart people, okay? By the time people get out of high school, you got a pretty good idea what people are going to do. You do. And again, if you're one of these people that's great in college, you're interested in STEM, you're interested in math, you're interested in engineering, you're interested in the science, physics, all these kind of things, go to college. That's a great place for you, right? If you're the high school football star, right? You're the guy that likes to work on his cars. You're the guy that likes taking things apart, putting shit back together. If you're one of these kind of people, guess what? You need to go get a job right out of high schow. You need to go work for an HVAC company. Go work for an auto mechanic. This is how it used to be, and it worked. We changed it. We told everybody, no, you don't want to go work with your hands. You want to make sure you go to college. And this is what fucked people. Because again, then you got people going into careers that they're not really even interested in. You're going to say, oh God, they could do that in their spare time. No, that's not how it ends up working. That's not what ends up happening. They end up trading the thing that they really liked when they were younger for the thing that's going to make them money, okay? I don't want that to say. I don't want that for our people. So again, the people that are coming out of college, right? And again, I always lose what I say this, but pay very close attention to what I'm going to say here, Ellie, okay? You need to understand this. When you come out of college or come out of high school, 18 years old, okay? How many people go to college and then everything about their life is paid for through student loans, okay? This is most people. Most people don't actually work to go to college. So they're paying room and board, all their tuition, okay? So for 4 to 5 years, right? Because the average person doesn't get done with college in 4 years, by the way. That's gotten longer, little fact. They're not paying anything for their life. The college tuition is paying for all of it. The taxpayer is guaranteeing every bit of it, okay? I advocate for, instead of taking out $40,000 to $50,000 in loans so you can go to some college and go have fun, why don't you just go work for an HVAC company and make 15 bucks an hour? What are you going to use? You're going to use the living wage argument. You're going to talk about the minimum wage, or you're going to talk about, oh my God, you can't do that. That no one can live on that. Okay, well, again, the person going to college isn't paying for nothing. Okay, I'm paying you 15 bucks an hour. Again, why aren't you just living at home? Why don't you go live with your grandma and go learn some shit and make some money? And then by the time you would have gotten out of college, or you spent 4 years working for a business like mine, you come out making $70,000 a year, okay? It balances out. And guess what? You got 4 years that you've worked for a company, right? You've proven that you're a good employee, that you can learn some shit. Guess what? The employer likes you, and the employee likes working for the employer. It's a win-win. When you come out of college, no one knows who the fuck you are. No one cares about your 10 millionth business degree. No one cares that, you wrote a paper on gender, equality. No one gives a shit. No one knows who you are. Your degree is generic as it gets. I'm telling you guys, this does not make sense for most people. Now, if you're a very smart person and you're into physics, right, guess what? You're going to have a skill that very few businesses are actually looking for, right, which is a physics major. Okay? This is the problem we have in our economy today. And I don't know how much plainer to put it to you guys that this is the problem that we have. And again, when we allow businesses to incentivize bringing in the third world to do the blue-collar work, or outsourcing the blue-collar work to the third world, how do you expect to make a decent amount of money if the blue-collar worker is competing with the third world over here to make shit, and the third world in here coming into America to make shit? How do you expect to make $80,000 a year? You can't. You won't. Unless you're one of what Mike Rowe talks about, the $260,000 a year electrician. Which he wants to think like, oh my God, everyone's going to make a ton of money. And if I only made half of that, God, I'd have it made. Truth is, most electricians don't make that money. They don't even make close to that money. Average salary for an electrician is $61,000 a year. Okay, so again, I'm very consistent on things that I advocate for. And again, I want the system to be fixed, and I don't see those things happening. Donald Trump was supposed to come in and help out with those things at the federal level. He's not doing it. So Ellie, I hope that clears things up for you. Let's see. Lowe's comments are specific Lowe's comments were specific All right, dude, I'm not sure what you're saying. First job, $4.25 an hour. No, mine was, I think mine was $5.25 an hour. Again, international students do not get, no, I'm not saying they do. They pay full price. They pay full price. But again, what are we doing, Ellie? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. What are we doing? Are we going to pay to educate the fucking rest of the world? Are we going to pay to educate all these people? Give them all the information to do what it is that Americans do so that American business can send the work to the third world? Is this really what you're advocating for? Or hey, how about we stop giving all the fucking money to the colleges that are bringing the third world in here and teaching them how to do shit? Why don't we give that money back to Americans? And you don't have to give it to them in the way of higher education. Why don't we start trade schools, right? Why don't we start supporting small business? Instead of giving the fucking 18-year-old $100,000 a year to go get a basket weaving degree, why don't we give them $100,000 to go start a small business? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I am so disgusted with you people and the things you're saying. Again, Ellie, I love that you're here. You're one of the people that comes in all the time, but you are off your fucking rocker. Okay, so sorry. Don't mean to be a dick about it, but I'm gonna get tired of this. I'm so tired of this. They might get private loans, but generally have to pay full price. I know, I said that. I don't know how much clearer to make this stuff to you guys. All right, Big Juggles, it's really hard to correct misconceptions on a 10-minute delay, mate, when they describe how much, yeah, Mr. Juggles, this is right. This is why I'm always telling you guys, like, again, if the comments get too much, I literally have to, you got to do super chats, you got to do super gifts in order to get comments read right away. But yeah, you're 100% right, Juggles. I need to do the call-in show. Like I said, I worked on the camera yesterday. I got the camera thing figured out. I got all the audio set up. So I got everything set up to do a call-in show, and we can just literally go back and forth with people on the phone, which I think would be a lot of fun. So I need to work on that. I'll work on that here pretty soon. All right, your experience is typical, but you're right. Wages haven't kept up with inflation, which is the actual problem. Yeah, and again, I agree with the Juggles. Like I said, my situation, my path, I think it's a fairly typical. I don't think that it's exceptional. The only thing that makes me exceptional is that I just worked harder than most people. I was able to volunteer for everything, sacrifices, marriages, and being a good dad for work. And I think that's the only thing that makes me different than anyone else. So you're 100% right, dude. Okay, let's see. Duff's 401 taxation. 401, Axions. S9Q, the Federal Reserve is a privately owned bank printing the currency and charging you interest on the privileges. Yes, and again, it's all to protect the banks. It's all to protect our banking system because, again, our economy is built on debt. It's built on debt and it's built on leverage. Again, you give the bank $100, the bank lends out $100 to 100 other people with your $100. And again, I know that's not a perfect example, but then those people lend that $100. They lend 99 out to 99 other people, and it just spreads out like a spider web throughout the economy. It is why we are where we are today, which again is progress, if you guys want to call it progress. But I think that we went too far, too fast, and we sacrificed several generations to do it. And I think we need to go backwards. I think we need a major depression in this country. We need a major recession. And again, I always lose when I say that, but I won't stop. We still have Juggles. Thank you for being here, bro. Yep, cool, man. Yeah, we do like Juggles, and I like his comments. But Juggles, you got to let us know what you do, man. You got to put it out there. These days of just being a random, keyboard warrior on the internet, eventually, dude, it's going to happen. All right, Neg Farid Hero, demand profit sharing from whoever works for you. The work you perform, otherwise inflation will crush us. Okay, and again, I'm all for that. I love the idea of profit sharing. We give out bonuses. We gave out bonuses last year during Christmas. But here's the problem with giving out profit sharing. If you're going to participate in the profits, you got to participate in the losses. And this is where wages don't want to do that. They always love it when it's good. They fucking hate it when it's poor. And everyone says, oh, God, well, you'll lose wages. Well, it's part of being a guy that is a W-2. That's part of being a 1099 contractor, And again, you want all the profits. You want to participate when it's good. Well, guess what? You get bonuses. You get increased wages. That should be good enough. But no, you want profits too. And again, I'm all for it. Share the profits. But again, when shit goes downhill, guess what? You got to take less money. And what most W-2s don't know about making money as a business owner is that our profits and our losses move like this, right? So some months I make $200,000 a month, right? Other months I don't make. I'll make $30,000 a month, right? That's $170,000 fluctuation, right? So I have to be good enough at what I do, or I say my wife does, right, to be able to give us some cash so that we can buffer our bank account when we're in this fluctuation. The salary worker, guess what? He makes this no matter what, right? When he wants to make profits, he gets to make money when everything's good. But guess what? When it goes bad, he doesn't have to participate in this part. And this is the problem. This is what most people don't understand about specifically small business, okay? And we don't have access to all the credit in the world. We got to mortgage our homes, right? We got to sell off our toys. Like, we got to do all kinds of things to keep liquidity within our business, because at the end of the day, you know what small business runs on? It runs on cash. And this is one of the reasons I beat up this debt leverage-based society that we have today. This thing called free cash is the thing that makes small business work. Unless you're a large corporation, unless you're a bank, you live on fucking credit. Unless you're a VC investor, you live on cheap money. This is what's wrong with our society. It's what's wrong. It's why you guys can't get paid a fat salary. This is why you guys can't get good benefits. This is why you guys can't get the regulations, the rules, and all the shit that you guys want here. Because most people aren't participating. All right, let's see. Guys, let's go to the last couple comments here. I'm going to participate. I'm going to give you guys 4 more comments, then I got to get out of here. All right, Canadian Sigma, man, cool. Got a student loan for a culinary degree, no problem at all. And now I can't get a business loan for my catering company. Yep, again, fucking perfect. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. It's amazing, right? Because again, the youth are our future, right? So let's give them money to go get educated. Meanwhile, when they get in the middle class, they can't make enough fucking money to pay for their degree. And then they're like, well, hey, I thought I was the future. Like, I thought you wanted me to get married and have a kid. I thought you wanted me to buy a home. Like, I thought you wanted me to, live this American dream. Like, no, they don't. The colleges and the government gives you the illusion by sending everyone to fucking college, while they outsource all your work to the third world and bring the third world in here to do all the work that gets everything done, that makes all the real shit. You guys are living in a debt-based, leveraged society, and it's not working anymore. So very frustrating. But Culinary Sigma, man, I need to remember your comment, man. That's a great one. I got a student loan for my culinary degree, no problem at all. Now I can't get a business loan for my culinary company. That's because you're supposed to go work for one of the big multinational corporations that owns all the restaurants. You're supposed to go work for Yum Foods. All right, the Duff, this is all stuff I've been ranting about for well over a decade. Good, and Duff, and again, this is stuff that we talk about, and again, I'm an open book about our business. I'm an open book on how we make money. I'm an open book on how the economy works according to a guy that didn't go to college, who doesn't hasn't been brainwashed by climate change and men can be women and woke bullshit. Like I don't have it. I'm not been around. I'm a guy. Again, I worked in manufacturing my entire life. The thing that we're trying to send to the third world, right? I've worked in the mud my entire life. The thing that we're trying to bring the third world in here to do, you know? So again, when I got to listen to the academics and the experts tell me that Americans don't want to do this work anymore, I just laugh every fucking day. Like I just laugh. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I can't wrap my head around it. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, Mr. Juggles, see, I did go over my, again, no, I know what your work history is, dude. You told me. I want to know who writes your check. Tell me what industry. Again, you do seminars. You're an economist, right? You do a lot of speaking gigs. Okay, again, are you speaking for corporations? That makes sense to me, right? If you got your degree in economics from Harvard, okay, great. Why would a company want to pay you to talk? Like, where did your expertise come from? You had to have either been an expert in academia, right, talking at the Harvard level, the Yale level, the Stanford level. You have to have something that makes you worth paying money for, right? This is this idea that, well, I have a degree, therefore you have to give me money. This isn't reality, dude. Like, there has to be a reason people are willing to pay you, okay? Now, if a big business is going to pay you to talk, why should they pay you over another economist? Let us know what you do. Do you have a class? Do you got a course? Are you speaking on the economics of the oil industry, right? Are you, do you have a success helping companies? You talked about helping businesses grow and scale their company. Okay, again, any talking head can grow about talking and scaling a business, okay? Again, I actually do. I actually know what it takes to scale a fucking furniture company, to make something here in America. Again, why should I pay you to tell me how to scale my own business? Because again, dude, you haven't said jack shit that tells me that you know a fucking thing. Like you got the economic talking points. You sound like every other guy out there talking, but again, you haven't told me jack shit. You've just thrown some platitudes out there. And again, I don't know that you know anything. Again, let us know what you do. Let us know where we can find your information. Let us know why we should listen to you. Again, you got to prove that you've done something. Like Mikado, I know more about Mikado, who's a $63,000 a year machinist, you know, lives in Pittsburgh. I don't know jack shit about you. You know, you've told us a whole bunch of stuff, but we don't know what you do. You're very vague about it. Like, I'm a speaker and I help small businesses grow. Like, great. What do you? You probably also trade crypto. I'm a crypto bro. I trade in fucking real estate. Like, again, there's a million of you guys. Why would a business pay you? You know, again, I tell you guys, like, why would someone buy furniture from me as opposed to someone else, right? The reason they buy it from me is because I have the industry standard for lacquered furniture, right? When you think of Kleenex, you think of bath tissue, right? When you think of lacquered furniture, you think of the Resplendent Crow. We were first. This is why people buy from me. I don't necessarily have the best product in the world, but guess what? I've been doing it for 10 years. I have a name. I have a brand. We're a real business. We do real shit. Go to my website, theresplendentcrow.com. I tell everyone everything about me because I want people to know why they should like, know, and trust me. This is how business works. This is how branding works. Okay? You've told me you're an economist and that you get paid to talk and help scale up small business. What businesses have you helped? Give us something, man. Like, come on. Okay, let's see. Tide Bridge in here. No all caps. All right, we got to this. Nora Nicole, BK4XX. I want to know what makes you think that we're trying to be men trying to be women when you don't know our pain. Okay, dude, we're not even engaging with you. I get invited to speak at conferences. I know, dude. Okay, what? Give us a conference. Like, what? Again, why should anyone care about you? What have you done? Who are you? What is it that makes you so exceptional? And this is the thing about academics. Like, you have to give us something. You know, like I make furniture. I make furniture for a lot of people. What are we supposed to do with that? I worked for 20 years. I got paid a lot of money. What are we supposed to do with that, man? Like, it's not helpful. It's not helpful, man. Like, come on, you got to give us more than that. Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Juggles. Well, sorry, dude. I can't go through all the comments, man. It's almost impossible to get them. Business can pay whatever they want to. Yes, 100%. Shell 2014. All right, Mr. Juggles. I literally explained it above. I'm not sure. Okay, again, then Juggles maybe missed it. I'm not going to go back at this point. Okay, let's see. Todd Gack 33. Do you finish your furniture? Do you build islands? So Todd Gack, yes, we build furniture. We also high gloss lacquer coating. So again, go to theresplendentcrow.com. We are the company that makes the shiny furniture that you can see your face in. Right? This is who we are. This is what we do. And we're very well known for. We've been in business for 10 years, right? So we got this thing called the Lindy effect, right? We don't have to try and convince people what it is we do. We've been in business long enough. We've got enough customers that we are the brand that does this kind of thing. You know, we're not the best, but we were one of the first, which is very helpful. And yes, we build it. We do vintage furniture. We do new furniture. We sell way more new furniture than we do vintage furniture, and we make it all right here in St. Louis. Okay, we use all American everything. Again, so that's why I'm an advocate for American-made businesses. I'm an advocate for people starting a small business. I'm an advocate for real competition and real innovation, which we do not have in this country. You guys have been sold the illusion of progress through academia. And all you guys have done has allowed the proliferation of essentially a dozen companies in this country essentially controlling everything. Your government is controlled by large corporations that then pay these guys to write the rules and regulations that make it impossible for you to get a loan for a small business, that make it impossible for you to start a small business. They create the regulations that make you have all the fire codes, all the electric codes, all the labor codes, all the transportation codes, all the rules and regulations around this thing here in America. And then those large corporations, they send all that work to the third world where there is none of it. They bring the third world in here to compete for you guys. Instead of paying you guys $100,000 a year, they can pay you 60 because guess what? Juan will do it for 70. Juan will do it for 50. And Juan doesn't care about fucking regulations. Juan doesn't care about your transportation rules, doesn't care about your tort laws, doesn't care about your minimum wages, doesn't give a fuck about any of that. He'll live 5 to a house, right, while sending half of his check back to Mexico. Okay, this is what I advocate for on this channel. So, all right, Mr. Juggles. All right, say honestly, cat made. Okay, cool. Mr. Juggles, I appreciate it. Again, like I said, we think you're great. I think you've got some good insight. But again, at some point, if you want to be the man, you got to be the man. And I don't see much. And again, you're saying you put it in the comments. So again, maybe I missed it. Mr. Juggles, I'm going to pull you up right now on YouTube, and I'm going to make sure that I go to your. Let's go to your page real quick. Again, I don't normally do this, but let's make sure I get your name right, Juggles. All right. All right, Mr. Juggles has 0 videos. Let's see, let's go on here. Big Juggles. All right, Big Juggles here. Okay. So Big Juggles, doesn't look like you have any videos. Is this correct? Or is this, are you Thomas Juggler? You know, are you the guy that's juggling? I don't think so. If I go into, let's see if I can go into all my subscribers. And again, I don't normally do this, but if you guys give me just a second, let's see what Mr. Juggles has going on here. See, these are our comments, recent subscribers, see all. Let's see here. Will it let me do a search? No, it is not going to let me do a search. So you guys are going to have to bear with me here. As I go through, I'll go through 100 of my 6,300 subscribers. Let's see if we can find, okay, now it's saying that, oops, something went wrong. Great. Frickin' great. Let's see. Go through here. Okay, here we go. Now it's working again. All right, Mr. Juggles, Mr. Juggles. Let's see if you're in here. Again, I'm going to go through again my most, I don't know if this is my, okay, now it's, oops, something went wrong again. God damn it. Okay. Well, Mr. Juggles, apparently I'm not going to be able to find you on YouTube. Let's see if we can pull up your thing. We got channel activity, add as a moderator. See if I can pull you up right here real quick. Channel activity. Okay, you joined 14 years ago. You've got 1 subscriber. Okay, this is what I'm seeing here. Again, you are commenting on a lot of what it is that I talk about. I'm not seeing a lot of what it is that you do here, man. So, okay, okay, I don't have any content. I know, and again, you're paid all this money, and everyone wants to hear you. Clearly, you must have a website, you know, or are you connected, right? Are you in a group of? You got a company that, you know, like we do with content creators? Like, do you have a company that promotes you, that sells you to other businesses? Like, how do you get paid money? How do you make money in this thing? Again, you make tons. You got it all figured out. Like, let us know. Like, put up or shut up, dude. Like, again, you can be very vague, but you got to give examples of how you make money and how the system works. Again, because that's all I do is tell you guys how this thing works, okay? Like good, bad, or indifferent. I tell you the truth, you know, and you're being very cagey about what it is that you do. Okay. Todd Gack, you got the last comment, dude. Todd Gack, 33. My dad used to build furniture. I wish I would have had more patience to let him teach me. It's a great skill to have. Everyone needs furniture. 95% of furniture built today is pure shit. Yeah, and again, this is I wouldn't even say that it's shit, dude. Like, it's not that building furniture today is crap. The problem is that we taught the third world how to do it, right? The third world always knew how to make furniture. I mean, Japanese, Chinese, all these people make great stuff, right? But the truth is we gave them the technology of how to do it quickly. And then we traded an American doing it here quickly for a Chinese guy doing it quickly, a Vietnamese doing it quickly, right? And this has been the problem. So again, if you want to learn furniture from your dad or your grandpa, when you let corporations send all that work to the third world, guess what? You get less of it here, right? And then you couple academia with that. You tell everyone, oh, God, don't be a furniture maker. You'll be a fucking loser, right? No one wants to do that. It's dirty. It smells funny. It's loud. You can cut your hand off. Safety, safety, safety. When you do that, you end up with less people wanting to go into that trade, right? You end up with more academics, more economists, more data analysis, more corporate strategists, right? You end up with more, maybe get some material engineers, you got psychologists, just fucking computer science. Pick your poison. You end up with more of these kind of people, and guess what? Suddenly your society doesn't want to make shit. And the academic will say, well, we don't want to do that work, right? We don't want to do it. Let Jose come in here and do that work, right? Let Chang over there in China do that work. You don't want to do. You want to be a branding expert. You want to be a marketing specialist, right? And this is where we end up with a society today where, again, everyone, all they care about is convenience. All they care about is quick stimulation, right? Give me the 15-second clip. Give me the answer now. I want it right now. Now. I want the Instacart. I want the DoorDash. I want the Uber. I want everything my way. I want subscriptions. I want the movies right now. And with the society that we have today, which is everyone's numb. No one wants to learn anything. No one has the attention span to learn anything. Again, when you try and tell people, especially the poor, like I advocate for the poor all the time, you try and teach these guys something, they all, oh, why you fucking disrespected me, bro? Because they've never had a fucking dad. They've never had someone then teach them anything except how to collect a check, how to have a fucking baby, and let someone else pay for it. That's all these people have learned. So again, no patience for anything. You can't teach them nothing. And this society that we got today, go to fucking school or be poor. God, heaven forbid you do something with your hands, right? But again, Mike Rowe's the expert. Listen to this guy. You're going to make $260,000 a year. You're going to come out of trade school, probably $20,000 in debt. You're going to go get a job that pays you $60,000, $70,000 a year, and you're going to what? You're going to buy a home. You're going to buy a car. You're going to have kids. Fuck no, you're not. So what I advocate for is what will actually help society, in my dumb opinion. So anyway, who is this? I want to make sure I get your name right. Todd Gack, dude, I appreciate being here. Again, give the stream some time. Give us 5 listens too. We do something most days in the morning around 6 o'clock. I do this before I go off to work. Let us know what you think. And again, I think most people need to learn something, whether it's woodworking, whether it's welding, whether it's upholstery, seamstress, right? All these kind of things, like learn cooking, culinary skills. All these things are wildly important, and we've devalued all of it. And again, if corporations can't get you guys to do the work for the wage they want to pay you, they'll bring the third world in here, or they'll outsource it to the third world. And this is the problem, guys. You think that it's great that you have this convenient lifestyle, that your federal government just prints money ad nauseum, that speculators and finance people are going to, splash money on the economy that they're essentially getting for nothing when the Fed prints the money. It dilutes its way down to you finally, and you get it. It's not worth a fucking thing. So yeah, it's a problem, guys. But anyway, guys, I gave you guys plenty of time. I give more time than I normally would. Titan, let's see what Titan says real quick, because Titan's one of our moderators. I want to make sure I give him our attention. All right, Big Juggles, you're in Australia. All right, cool. Titan Brew, cool, nice country. Love to visit someday. All right, cool. All right, Mr. Juggles, dude. Again, I love what you're doing. I value what you're saying. I'm starting not to believe you because again, you're kind of cagey about how you do this thing. You're not really telling people how to do what it is that you do. So again, you seem to have some good knowledge. But anyway, guys, I got to go. I'm late, and I got to go fix my wife's battery.